along with me, you want an alias?
Go on an alias?
Yeah.
No.
All right, cool. Can we go J-Med? No, that's not cool.
J-Med sounds kind of gay.
It does sound kind of gay. You're right. We're going to go James.
James works.
James works. James, a gentleman that I will allow him to introduce himself. I don't know what he's going to give up and what he's not going to give up. So before I say anything more, James, how you doing? And invite yourself to the audience or tell them something, whoever's listening.
Would you like a thesaurus or a dictionary? Are you in trouble since Wikipedia's not here?
Sometimes you know what I got to tell you. Sometimes I do feel a little naked when she's not around, though.
Gosh,
and she won't be here tonight. So
you're less flustered when there's a woman sitting next to you.
That's a good time, though. So how you doing, James?
I'm good, brother.
You having a good time? Now remember, you got to get right up on the mic, though, in case.
Yes,
did you check him up? Because we didn't test that.
Got to make love to the microphone.
Making love that microphone.
Yeah, get in. I'm all the I'm touching it.
I might have to crank him up a little bit because.
Oh, you got to?
He's a little shy.
Well, no, he's got a different voice, man. This guy always busting balls. It's
a Wednesday night.
It's a Wednesday ball busting.
Get away with it on Wednesday nights.
That's how the show rolls on Wednesday.
I'm on World 1-1. What's up? You know? And you got to see Greg's shirt in order to understand what World 1-1 means. So,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Dude, his shirts are.
I got 900 lives.
Does it show how many lives he had? Oh, that's awesome.
No. I just saw the brick wall.
Oh yeah.
He used to kick the turtle.
Yeah.
Hit that turtle.
Bounce on the turtle.
Yep.
Get the infinite lives.
Yep.
Don't get too many though, because then if you die, then the game locks up. And yeah.
Love Nintendo.
Oh yeah. Still to this day.
That's my favorite game of all time, right there.
Also in studio with us is the Prime Minister of Things That Are Sinister.
Wow.
Greg Evil Bowen. Which I never understood the evil part, though. Like, you're totally not evil. Like, you're the opposite of what evil would be.
It's like a reverse nickname then?
You're like the walrus.
The walrus.
Like the glue.
Well, thanks.
Nah, that's a good time, though. Look, look, in every dynamic, you got to have that kind of, you got to have that. Or things just go to shitty all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have that. No matter what, man. It's a good time, though. Now, let me ask you this, because I didn't know where you went. You went to Pinellas in the March for Monsanto, right?
No, actually,
or did you go out at all?
Well, I was working the neighborhood market for the MLK Coalition.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, had a vendor booth there.
Now we went to Miami.
Okay. Yeah.
You want to know who is catering to the market? By the way,
who's that?
Greenies, Green Party people.
Really?
The ones in Miami, at the March for Monsanto in Miami, the Green Party literally brought a booth with, not a booth, but like a table with them. And they handed out information on the Green Party. Which, what a great idea. I mean, look, we were out there doing it too, but we were more for candidates and for other stuff. But to watch the Greens doing that, though, that was actually pretty good on their part. They don't have a lot of presence, though, to be honest with you. I mean, look, they're, when you hear about parties, political parties all the time, and you hear about the Libertarian Party and where they fall into political parties.
Right.
We're way closer to the Dems and the Republicans than we are to anybody else. Like when it comes to organization structure overall, we're as a national organization, we're way closer to the Dems and the Rs than we are to anybody else. The rest of them, finger painters. I mean, not even to discredit them, because I hate to say it that way. I mean, it's not the right way to say it, but like none of them do like. We are more professional by marketable leaps and bounds than any of the other political parties. The convention is only one proof point of that. Mm-hmm. There's no other like when the Constitution Party guys met, and this is not to bust on them. It's just look, they're at where they're at right now. This is a testament to the LP, not speaking negatively on them. Like they're showing YouTube videos at their convention. You know what I mean? Like that's what they're doing at their. We got speakers, we got people coming in. We have the money to at least run something that's somewhat good. We have enough people that are involved in the party that we can fill the rooms. We can do something. We're closer to the Dems and the Rs in that aspect. And when it comes to political organizations, we're that close.
Right.
We don't think so. Like we're even harder on ourselves, but we are way closer there than we are.
Oh yeah.
Have you even heard of a Green Party meeting?
No.
And you've probably looked.
Yeah. I have actually.
You went looking and can't find it.
Yeah. I would love to go observe the Green Party State Convention.
Yeah.
sit in as a viewer,
Yeah.
see what they're talking about. I think the problem with the other parties is typically that they're one-issue parties. That's the only reason the Constitution Party kind of comes out. That's why the Reform Party kind of lasted, because it was more than one issue. But the Greens, it's really just about environmentalism, essentially. Well, they kind of, because they want to build up and get greater, they go to more issues, but they kind of.
Oh, and we'll say the number, because there might be people calling tonight, by the way.
Oh, there might be people.
1-800-52... No, Skype line. Studio line. 1-800-525-4032. 1-800-525-4032, in case you want to call in. I don't know where we're going to go tonight, by the way. I have no idea. I have not done much prep, other than I did want to talk about the California thing. James, was there anything you wanted to bring up first and foremost?
No, you start.
Okay.
I definitely want to bring up the California thing. We can't not talk about it. Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about this one. Okay, so you've heard what's going on with this, right? Do me a favor. Can you do the setup?
I get stall for a second.
Let me stall for a second real quick. Well, the reason is that, there are some people on YouTube that I absolutely love to watch. And one of them is Stefan Molyneux.
Yes.
And the reason why is because that dude will give such a clinical analysis of things like this. Because there's so many moving parts, there's so much going on, there's so much emotion that could be involved on either side of it, that if you're a calm, cool head that can explain this story all the way through, that you'll have a great understanding of what's going on, and you'll also be able to very, very well tell who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, and who are the people that are taking advantage of the situation to advance an agenda. Which is unfortunate, even if we'll get into it, but.
Well, actually, this is one of those events that shows that it kind of shows exactly what we as libertarians talk about all the time, how the Democrats and the Republicans are the same. And, a lot of times people don't really see it. This is one of those times where they're the same, and you kind of have to bring it to them. And it's a little nasty, but it's true. The Democrats and the liberals have no problem using a dead child to further their gun agenda, the same way a Republican has no problem using a dead fetus to further their abortion agenda. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
They are willing to use these emotional triggers and this propaganda.
Republicans do it for the troops.
Well, whatever it is, but I mean, this is just one example that you can really use to bring it home, to bring the point, because immediately, let's go ahead and set it up, just to make sure that everybody knows, because I don't understand how no one can know, but we'll set it up. Okay, so on May 23rd in Isla Vista, California, a killing spree started. 22-year-old Elliot Rodger started a killing spree by stabbing and killing his 3 roommates, then went on into a series of drive-by shootings and vehicular attacks, and ultimately he killed 7 people. Well, 7 people were dead, including himself, and he wounded 13 others. Now, he had done a series of YouTube videos that kind of spelled out his crazy, and he wrote a manifesto as well.
And the video that him saying that he's going to go out and kill people was up for an hour before he did it.
Yeah.
And there were warning signs. Again, the cops were notified beforehand.
About a year and a half before this happened, police had been out to his apartment, found, I guess, here's the thing with sociopaths: they're charming, they're intelligent, they're very capable of manipulating people, and I have no doubt that he easily fooled the cops into thinking everything's okay.
Oh, sure. I mean, Dahmer was caught with people
that
were saying he's trying to kill me, and he was like, no, he's just crazy, and they believed him.
Yeah. I mean, that's the dangerous thing about the news comes on, and you got people on the news saying, well, I never saw this, but he was such a nice guy. Well, in hindsight, there's no surprise here.
Sure.
You look at his YouTube videos, you look at what he's done, this over a year of preparation and planning. I mean, no gun control laws are going to stop someone who is willing to plot and plan for over a year and do what needs to be done. He can acquire guns
stabbed
illegally.
People anyway.
Yeah.
And ran people over with his car.
Yeah.
They're going to start banning knives in cars?
Yeah. He's crazy. Killers are killers. And people
I think
are trying
he was on medication too, wasn't he?
Here's the
probably
thing.
from the time he was a child.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't want to make it about medication. I don't want to make it about video games or misogyny or all these things that people are making it out to be. He's fucking crazy. He's a killer. Point blank. And that happens. We get psychopaths and sociopaths born, and sometimes it's nature, sometimes it's nurture. Maybe something could have been done. Maybe if his father and his mother or other loved ones were more involved, they could have seen these warning signs. Maybe if they watched his YouTube videos, they'd have known what was going on. I mean, he's the son of a Hollywood assistant director.
Well, there you go.
Is it not a clear psychology 101 cry for help that he's using YouTube and a film medium to express himself and put out his crazy? I mean,
Yeah.
I look at this and I see someone who could have really used some parental involvement.
A hug.
Probably from a long time ago too. This is something that just built up over the last year. I mean, this is something that he was 13 saying, "Daddy, I need some attention here."
Look, and by the way, just a parental tip at this point: if your son gets to be 18 and has not gotten laid yet, then it is your responsibility to go out and get him a hooker. Not for yourself and not for him, for society. Because at 22 and you ain't never busted a nut on a girl, to be honest with you, you might be liable to kill somebody. And that is the parent's responsibility there. You are putting out a loaded gun, per se.
No pun intended.
Pun totally intended. Totally let it for you. I didn't want to turn it into an argument for legalizing prostitution, but you totally can.
I still don't understand. I don't necessarily buy it.
What, that he's a virgin?
Yeah, I don't know. Crazy's crazy, but when you have that kind of cash, I mean, your dad's a bazillionaire. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what? You're driving around in a BMW.
It seemed too real to not be like he's that much of a dork. He was that much of a dork. Like his problem was he couldn't use the tool. Like those are tools. He couldn't use the tools. He didn't know how to use them.
Even a dork can go to a strip club.
I watched his videos. Did you watch his videos?
No,
he's like William Shatner doing a Bond villain. It's bad. It's really bad. It really is. Yeah. I mean, he is totally overacting. I mean, he constantly talks about killing people, rarely ever uses the word kill. Uses slay, obliterate, annihilate, every synonym he can. It's really insane.
Thank you.
So this guy's got problems.
He's got serious problems. But I mean, it's just like all these other mass shootings that get the public attention. There's no surprise here. If you in hindsight you can see it's like, why didn't anybody do anything? Was anybody paying attention to what this person was doing?
No.
And it doesn't matter what laws you're going to put in. Most of these shootings, like Columbine, you're talking about years in planning and preparation. Right. These guys know what they're doing, and they're doing it for exactly what we're giving them right now, for the attention.
Sure.
That's what the Columbine kids spelled out. They are doing it because they will be immortal because of it, and they are. These kids are going to be talked about forever. Right. They left a mark, and that's what a lot of these people are doing. This is their way of leaving their mark on the world, and they will be immortal for it. Because the key to immortality is living a life worth remembering. And
good or
they
bad.
will be remembered. Yeah, exactly.
Good or bad.
Okay. And again, it isn't supposed to be about any of this stuff that I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway, though. If the case is, which you're right on, by the way, is that these kids do it for immortality, how do you solve the problem? How do you solve the problem at its root? Now, the root is it's celebrity is what happens, right? Mm-hmm. Here's how you solve it. Again, you're never going to solve it all the way, but here's how you take the incentive out of it. What's the average number of people that die in locations that are gun?
Yeah.
14. The average number of deaths in a gun zone, one that allowed to have carry, is typically 2.
Yeah, it's like 1.8 or something like that.
Yeah, 1.8 or 2. 2 don't make the news. Now, don't get me wrong, 2 will make the news, but 2 don't make Columbine news. Columbine news way different than some kids started shooting people and we shot them and we killed them. Mm-hmm. Because then there's no trial, there's none of the rest of it. And typically these other kids are dead too, but with some of the guys, the people aren't dead though. They stop them that way. But this way, if a civilian shoots them dead, then it's all good. You know. Again, I don't want civilians just shooting people. You know, all whatever. But if somebody's carrying a gun and starting to shoot people, you shoot that guy to kill that guy or girl, whatever. But if they started to allow open carry or concealed carry in these places, then the number of deaths would go down based off of the statistics alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it only makes sense to give those more people guns than less people guns.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's never a shootout. Like, those things, they go, well, it'll just be a shootout. Like, that never happens. And even if it does once, isn't the trade-off worth it at that point? I mean, if we're really talking about numbers of people, then at that point, if you're looking at it from the top-down aspect, which I won't suggest that you do, but that's the solution to the problem. Sorry.
No. Well, one solution to the problem.
Well, yeah, the other one's the drug problem, and that's a whole different deal. Well, the other one is sometimes just give a kid a hug, man.
Yeah.
You can't fix parents.
That's the biggest thing. These kids that do stuff like this, it always comes out that that they can see this trend, and usually it starts from a young age, or picking on cats and dogs and stuff, and all of a sudden, at some point, a parent needs to be involved and held just as much accountable as the kid with the gun. I mean, and then how'd your kid get a gun without you knowing about it? And how'd your kid get a closet full of explosives and all? Come on, my parents would be walk into my bedroom every night. Mm-hmm. Hey, you ready for bed? I mean, I wouldn't be able to hide stuff from my parents for weeks, or in Columbine's case, years on end, without my parents knowing about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And stop giving 4-year-olds medication.
Yeah. 4-year-olds don't need amphetamines and antidepressants.
Exactly.
And that's why the one father, though, really pisses me off.
Oh, that's where we really got to go, because this is really the story of it all. And I believe his name is Richard Martinez. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, Mr. Martinez.
The victim, Chris Martinez, in this, his father, Richard Martinez.
Oh, you're going to play the clip?
Well, I'm going to try and I'm going to see if I can find it.
Sadly, he's going to be used.
And
he did it to. I think he did it for that reason.
For the attention.
Yeah, I think he did it to. I think he did it. And again, look, I feel bad that he lost his son, and I don't know what I would do had I lose my son. But I know what I wouldn't do, and I wouldn't have brought. I don't care if you even believe that or not. Is it you're going to go up there and say that? I mean,
to politicize it.
You're going to politicize your son's death.
Your son's body isn't even cold, and you're going to use it. You're going to become a media whore, politicizing all of this.
Right.
It is ridiculous.
Well, and here's the other thing: considering the history of everything that we've already found out now, you can't possibly lay the blame on the NRA. And again, I don't like the NRA. But you can't lay blame to them and a politician when the police that were there were supposed to be things in place that would have picked this up. And not only did the parents fail, but the system itself that they set up, that they have all this loving, that failed too. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to start calling stuff out, then why don't you call out the system that's in place now? If you want to get mad at the politician, it ain't because they have less guns, it ain't because they're doing crime. Because if you take the top 5 cities in this country, the ones that have the most restrictive gun regulations, you take them out of the accounts when it comes to the number of murders in this country, and we're at the bottom of the list globally. Mm-hmm. It's only in the places where you have these stupid-ass laws that we have so many damn deaths that attributed it to it. It ain't because of a gun culture. It's because you dumbasses take the guns away from the civilians.
Because of a victim culture.
Yeah.
There you go. Victim culture.
I mean, that's exactly what we have, and that's what this guy here is to me. I feel I'm with you. I feel bad for him. I feel bad that he lost his son, but he chose to stand up in the public eye. He chose to put himself in the public conversation. So unfortunately, this is what he's going to get.
You chose to use the death of your son to try to advance a political agenda and to try to use a dead kid to do it. Like, you know what? That's wrong. And it's your kid, you dumbass.
And so you have now opened yourself to public ridicule, and we now have free reign on you. So, first, CNN is responsible in some regard for giving this man a mouthpiece and a place to say this, and for accommodating him in using this to further the political agenda, to allow him to make these ridiculous accusations. And then he's coming on here blaming politicians and the NRA who are not at all responsible. This crazy kid killed your son. There is no direct responsibility for action or inaction from any politician or the NRA. Because crazy people kill people.
If there's anybody you blame first, it would be the parents.
Yes.
And you should be mad as hell at them.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I'll give you that all day long. And if the police saw this stuff and they didn't do anything about it, you could get mad at the police. Again, if they were warned about this kid, and they still, here's the thing, we know what kind of technology government people have. You think we're stupid? We know you can monitor that stuff.
Hell, he wasn't trying to hide it.
Yeah.
It was on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's called a subscribe button.
Yeah, it wasn't like this is like secret encoding that the government needed to do to get it, to try to figure it out.
You see somebody that's a little crazy, they got a YouTube channel, maybe it's a good idea to subscribe to that thing.
And I mean, so how many people are they tapping? How many people are they watching? They didn't catch this? How good is their surveillance net?
Yeah, I don't trust that. Again, you got to blame them a little bit on this thing, too. Again, dude, an hour before put out a thing he was going out to kill people. Maybe you might want to pull him over.
All points bulletin.
Yeah,
But not even that.
APB on that guy's car.
Take one cop and have that cop follow that kid around. If he says he's going to go and do it and it's imminent, then go watch the kid.
Go to the sorority house. Just check on those girls' safety.
Yeah.
He named the sorority house at the university that he was going to.
Yeah, it ain't like he was trying to hide.
Maybe somebody should have said, you know what, why don't we check on those girls' safety?
No. Again, a lot of blame all the way around. The people that this guy chose to go after to blame is to advance an agenda, not to actually blame the people. Look, you should be yelling at the parents. And if the guy wanted to come up with an agenda, then how about us as parents start watching our damn kids? Because my kid just got killed because of this. So let's make sure we're watching our kids. Talk to your kids. Make sure your kids know that, see if there's any problems. And if there is, intervene, damn it.
Yeah.
Don't be doing this. I mean, and again, if you want to go out and advance that agenda, to be honest with you, you're still open to ridicule, but that's a great agenda to have, though. Screw anybody that has a ridicule like that. That's a great thing. Parents, be involved with your kids. This is a good reason why you should. Okay. Your public service announcement paid for by, whatever. And now they're going to use this thing. They're trying to pass legislation. Like, you guys are. It's just like those guys on the Republican side that use the military and stand on the dead graves of soldiers to advance an agenda. Yeah. There's no difference between the two. I have just as much disgust for one as I do for the other.
Yep. It's how they're exactly the same.
Yeah. And it sucks, too, because they go after the guns, and then you got to explain this thing to people, and it's just like, oh, my gosh.
It happens all the time, too.
It does.
Sandy Hook happens, and all of a sudden...
Well, here's part of the problem. According to the FBI, we have a mass shooting, which is defined by a shooting where 4 or more people are killed every 2 days.
Oh, absolutely.
We don't hear about them all on the news.
Going to any inner city happens constantly.
Yeah. We don't hear about them all on the news. CNN can't advance their agenda with all of them. Mm-hmm. It doesn't help when it's a domestic disturbance and the drunk uncle goes nuts and guns down everybody at the family reunion, or because it's a drive-by shooting from some gangbangers, or a drug deal gone bad, or whatever. That's not as sexy. That's not as.
It only happens when
nice.
It's a yuppie kid with a lot of money that.
Yeah,
nice, well-to-do area goes crazy.
We got some innocent kids or something involved, and it's time to make a big fuss. But problem is, people are crazy. People snap. People lose it. Thing is, this guy didn't snap.
He was like that the whole time.
Elliot Rodger didn't snap. He's been like this for quite some time. He's been planning and preparing for over a year. He didn't snap. None of these kids that do this snap. Unfortunately, nobody's paying attention.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
Don't blame the video games. Blame the parents who are putting them on the video games instead of parenting them.
There you go.
No, you're absolutely right. And and again, because that's the real discussion that needed to be had. And this guy comes out with the guns. Like, oh gosh, just shut up. Besides, here's the thing: if we're gonna really be upfront and fair about it, if you're gonna be that mad at the gun, you better be that mad at the knife and at the car.
Yeah. He killed just as many people.
Yeah. He knifed him. He ran him over. And this guy was like, this guy was playing Grand Theft Auto for real.
He actually killed.
So you're back to
not
video games.
including himself. He killed as many people with the knife as he did the gun, and hurt more people with the car.
Yeah.
Sure. So now you're back to video games.
Ban BMWs.
It's the video games that cause it, right?
Yeah.
It's AAA and the Congress. That's who's at fault here. And
AAA. Who's suing AAA over this?
Yeah, and Ginsu, they're going in too. You bring Ginsu in the lawsuit too. We got knife legislation coming.
What violent video games were the Manson family playing?
I don't remember.
Pong.
It all started with Pong.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was Pong.
And Pong.
Pong might make you
Well,
want
it's
to
a
go
good
kill
thing.
someone.
No, we used to play. That was excellent back then. It was excellent.
That was great back then.
Right.
That's what I hate hearing nowadays. People bitching about graphics. I'm like, graphics. We used to bounce a square back and forth with two rectangles for hours and loved it.
I loved it.
Talking about graphics. These graphics suck.
Yeah, it's this PlayStation 3. It's so outdated. I need this PlayStation 4 because the graphics are so much better.
Yeah, we have become.
Try real life. The graphics are better, but there's no respawns.
Go outside.
Yeah.
I gotta tell my kids all the time, like hours of playing basketball on PlayStation 4. You're on a basketball team, and you come here and sit here and play basketball on TV and a video game. It's like we have a basketball hoop outside. Let's get a ball, go outside.
See, I like to play video games to do things that I can't do in real life, like shoot people.
Like fly airplanes.
Like
I play Grand Theft Auto.
like shoot people.
Exactly. I can't do it in real life. I get it out on the video games.
Yeah, that's a good point. I used to play games all the time. I quit now.
So you're saying violent video games may save lives?
For the people within a 3-mile radius of me, yes.
They promote violent video games.
Well, see, my point is the most popular video game on the market is also the most violent video game on the market. And yes, I guess if you look at it, you are training to repetitively playing and killing people. But if you really want to, you can sign up for a much better training program to do exactly what you're doing in the video game, and they'll pay you to do it at goarmy.com. That's
there you go.
because we're talking about Call of Duty. And it's all about killing people in service of the government.
Black Ops.
Yeah.
It's a whole different deal. That ain't the same deal
Well-
as Black Ops, man. It's a good time.
I'm not saying it ain't fun. That's one of the games I shoot people in.
There you go.
That's amazing.
But,
Well,
I mean, that's the reality. That's the most violent video game. It's the most popular video game. And we will pay you to do it if you want. Our government has a job opening for you doing this.
Okay, well, speaking of that, let me ask you a question then. This is a big question, by the way. Big, huge, big question. In explaining the story that you just explained, and also if you just look back at all the bad things that are going on and how messed up things are, right? Do you think that we will eventually kind of have to have a reset? Like, and I mean like a everything shuts off kind of reset.
Well, it's going to happen one way or another.
I
Whether we do it
understand-
intentionally
I
or
understand.
unintentionally.
No. I
it's
understand, but
gonna
I'm saying, do you think it's needed? Do you think that in order to fix it, it actually has to happen?
Well, you mean our end goal, our philosophical end goal?
I'm saying as society as general. I'm not even saying one or another. Just whatever gets back to something nice.
It's not a matter of has to. We're going to. It's cyclical. We always do.
Yeah, but I think maybe you're missing the point though. Look, there's cyclical, and then there's the bottom. Then there's catastrophic.
Well, that's
It's not
part of the
always
cycle.
I know, but that's a long view of the cycle. You've had 200 something years of not that. Like even the Great Depression, I'm talking about making the Great Depression look stupid in comparison.
Well, are we talking?
Like I'm talking 15% of the population gone kind of thing.
But are we talking about ending people being crazy?
No. But I'm saying, do you need? Look, there's crazy, and then there's the enabling of the crazy.
Oh, okay.
A system crash, in some ways, ends the enabling, at least in the long run. In the short run, it wouldn't, but in the long run, it would. because you're going to lose a lot of people along the way. I mean, you're going to have a significant population drop. And I'm talking like 10, 15% kind of, if it was a huge crash. I mean, they've taken a poll, like, they say 50% of the people say they won't make it a day.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of...
Grocery store is probably not going to run out of food in a day.
I'm saying you.
No, it will. It'll all run out in 3 days.
We have enough.
It'll all run out in 3 days, but that's the thing. In a day,
like normal.
You'll make it 24 hours.
No, but 3 days
now,
based
3
off...
3 days, you're screwed. But
3 days based off normal supply chain, though.
Right.
Like normal buying patterns. So you can run it in a day. You can very much easily run it in a day, especially if
that's true.
Power's out and shit goes wrong. The next thing you know, shit gets cleared. Just all done. So do you think you think that's needed at this point? Like, do you think we've gone too far? It's almost like Sodom and Gomorrah, but not on the moral sense. More on the, not the morality stuff, but like the...
Inevitability?
I mean, the word I'm looking for is not the morality part of, like, you know, everybody's got to believe in God or something like that. But
I'll
I'm
just
talking
answer
about...
your question with a yes. I do think we need a reset. I understand your question.
Pull out your easy button.
Yeah.
Damn it. So...
No, I do think we need a reset. I don't think that the best we can do is slow the growth of government and like slow the bleeding right
And
now.
prepare.
But yeah, we're not going to fix things.
You can fix locally, though.
Well, we can't fix things playing by their rules.
No, you got to play by different.
We can't use, like Albert Einstein said, we can't use the way of thinking that got us into these troubles to get us out of them.
Yeah. You know that's why that community center is so important.
Exactly. I mean, there are ways locally that we can mitigate the hurt from it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, big picture, we have to have a reset, and we're going to have a reset.
It's going to happen.
That's the biggest point is the inevitability of the reset.
Every empire falls, and ours is going to as well.
No, none has lasted forever.
Mm-hmm. It's been nice. We've been on the top for a while. It's been pretty sweet. I'll gladly say I'm thankful I was born in the United States during its top of the empire.
There are better times,
but we're gonna crash. The empire's gonna fall.
But everybody falls when that happens.
It'll be interesting to see whether China or South America takes over after us.
Well, that's where my little nationalistic sets in at that point.
Well,
I think we're going to come back stronger than ever. But
it's going to be interesting because, I mean, the only reason we're still on top is because of our military. And we've got the bomb that backs our word.
It didn't have to be that way, though.
Well, yeah, it does. We're humans.
Well, no, but it didn't have to be that way, though.
Yeah, it does. We're humans.
We didn't need to do it via the bomb.
Well, we didn't need to, and we shouldn't have, but we did. And the fact of the matter is the petrodollar is the currency of the world.
Yeah.
Because we got the bigger gun.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
and you say we're not going to use your dollar. We say, what?
Well, now you got other people not using our dollar, though.
Well, that's because we got bigger people that can say that.
Yeah, now other people have just as big of guns.
Yeah, that's why our empire is going to fall. It's going to come down to conflict. We're going to be fighting. We're going to be fighting. We're going to have to defend ourselves because our empire is going to.
Who are we going to be fighting though? Like, who are you fighting in the homeland? Like, who are you fighting in Florida? I mean, if you're fighting in Florida, you're not fighting a foreign invader.
Well, no, we're not necessarily going to be fighting a foreign invader. We're going to be fighting wars overseas, kind of like the Libya thing. You know, we ousted Gaddafi because he was trying to create a unified gold currency of the African nations.
We stopped Syria, though.
Well, I mean, that's the kind of thing that we're going to be doing. We're going to be getting involved in small nations.
We've been doing that since World War II, though.
Well,
that's our foreign policy since World War II.
In discussions I had with people during the post 9/11, during the kind of height of the Iraq War, what I kind of saw as the plan was we're going to go into Iraq. We're going to set a foothold because everybody agrees at this point that the pretense for getting into Iraq was bullshit.
You mean that what weapons of mass destruction? And stuff? Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah, I mean the story that I'm sure I know when they were feeding me the story at the time, I wasn't buying it. This isn't why we're going. Yes, he has them. We sold them to him. Boy, we have the PO. I know he has them. I mean, yes, he has them. We sold them.
I wasn't all the way awake yet. Not then.
See, this back then was was before I had a child. I was aware. I didn't care. I hope the whole world burn. Let everybody pay for their sins and pay the cost.
Very Carlin-esque of you.
Yeah, very misanthropic. I still am. Now I just have a child that I have to look out for. So
Damn it.
But because I didn't believe the pretext, what I saw it as was we're moving into Iraq to create a foothold in the Middle East for our operations to further battle in the Middle East and take control of the areas that are creating problems for our petrodollar, and to ultimately have a base of operations to battle with Russia and China.
Yeah.
We're going to go into Iraq. We're going to go to Syria. We're going to move to Iran. And then from there, we're going to go either to Africa or against China and Russia. That's what I was saying back then. We're looking. We've finished Iraq. We finished Afghanistan. We're looking towards Syria. Iran's on the back burner. They'll be next. And from there, it depends on the global situation. Do we have to go against Russia and China now? Can we move towards Africa more? But if once we go towards Africa, China's already established a foothold there. So that's immediately going to create problems with China. And in the midst of all this, China and Russia are still doing their thing. And China is still pushing us out economically everywhere they possibly can and trying to hoard as many resources as possible. And they've already got us in checkmate when it comes to alternative energy, because they pretty much have control of the majority of the rare earth minerals on the planet. And there's nothing we can do about that. And all alternative energy sources need the rare earth minerals. And when they become the sole supplier of these minerals, and we have crippled ourselves with regulations and laws preventing the use of fossil fuels. We already can't get these rare earth minerals here in the United States because the environmentalists have got mining banned all over the country. So we have all these federal mining bans, so we can't go after these rare earth minerals ourselves. Yet the same people who got the mining bans put in place want us to create alternative energies that we need the minerals from the mining. So they've hamstrung us into technological fallout, and they're going to get ahead of us, and we're going to fall. And they all lived happily ever after.
September 2015.
I mean, see, I think you're already starting to see a change over here, though. Like, you're basing it off of the evil bastards that have been in charge are able to freewheel like they've been able to freewheel for the last decade, and that just hasn't been the case, though. It has been the case for the last 8 years. But not the past 2 years, though. You've seen marketable change when it comes to some of this stuff. Don't get me wrong, we're still outraged with a lot of stuff, but stuff's coming out. And there's, like, this thing's breaking up, man. We're finding out more stuff, and these guys are having to be way out in the open on this. Like I said, we were walking around for Lucas down there, and there were people asking us about the NDAA. Where does he stand on that?
Yeah.
When you have when you're going door to door and the general public is asking you about the National Defense Authorization Act, like, that's a good ass sign.
Yeah.
Like, that really is a good sign. Like, people fucking pay attention. Like, thank you. You know? Like,
It's either that or the technology puts it in front of them. I mean, the technology,
Either way.
like, oh, my homepage is Yahoo, and every time I click on it, it says something about someone talking about the NDA.
Exactly.
So,
well, that's why they restricted Facebook on us.
Well, a lot of these stories they get forced into talking about by the alternative media.
Oh, yeah.
Like and then you've got, we're lucky to have great journalists like Greenwald out there who will take the stories like Snowden and do something with it. And even though he knew it was going to get him in a lot of trouble,
right,
he doesn't care, and he's taking that fire and he's walking through it.
It's amazing that you had said Greenwald right now on my screen. I posted this on 1787 Network, but it was. Do you know what the monk debates are?
Mm-hmm.
You've seen them before, then.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Greenwald just participated in a monk debate?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was him. It was. Hold on. Let's see here who it was. I got to get the 4 because it was really bad. Oh, they won't let me play it right now. Hold on. I can go to monk debates and it'll tell me. What happens is, and if you don't know what the monk debates are, basically there's this debate club, for lack of a better term, that has this big auditorium that they made just to hold debates. I think is what it is. And so they have a topic. So with state surveillance, and they go, be it resolved, state surveillance is a legitimate defense of our freedoms. It was done May 2nd. And what they do is they have a motion. They say, this is the debate of the moment, be it resolved that state surveillance is a legitimate defense of our freedoms. So the audience votes pro or con in the beginning. So in this debate, and it was Michael Hayden, who's was the old director of the CIA. Alan Dershowitz, who's a civil liberties attorney. I hate Dershowitz, by the way. I really hate Alan Dershowitz. Those guys are the pro. On the con side, Glenn Greenwald and Alexis Ohanian. This is the guy that made Reddit.
Right.
So this guy's, he kept saying it. He's the geek of the bunch. He kept saying, but that was his words, not mine.
Right.
So they held the vote, pre-debate results, and it was 21% undecided, 46% con, and 33% pro. So 33% were with Hayden and Dershowitz. 46 were against it already. So they were already against it. And they have this debate. And I got to tell you, look, my favorite reporter or guy when it comes to being out there, that's one of the more real honest journalists, really is Ben Swan. Mm-hmm. But Glenn Greenwald is like right there for second.
Yeah.
And I know ideologically and politically, I don't really agree with Glenn Greenwald and a lot of stuff that he talks about. Mm-hmm. But he chooses to focus on state surveillance and on what our country is doing.
What he's doing right now is awesome.
Yeah. Even the stuff he was doing before was still some pretty good stuff, though. Mm-hmm. He always seems to be pretty accurate. Well, they did this thing, and he had some of the... I mean, it really does come down to who's lying and who's telling the truth in this one. Because what Greenwald will say is, these people said this is what they're doing, and the other guys go, we're not doing that. At the essence, that's what the whole argument was. What he's saying is not true, we're not doing that. But Glenn Greenwald has all of your documents, can prove everything he's talking about. You guys have the capability to do it. You're not admitting that you can do that you have the capability. And they were the other two guys were dicks the whole time. Like, they were cracking up and making jokes and all this other kind of stuff, like to totally deflect from the very seriousness of the issue. Mm-hmm. And the results were, the post-debate results, 59% against and 41% for. So Greenwald won Greenwald won the debate. Mm-hmm. This is the same group that is debated on whether the Second Amendment need to be changed, though. Right. So it ain't like it's a righty group. This is a lefty organization.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they'll do both sides, but you can tell by the votes about we needed to change the Second Amendment, which really was I had a hard one. That was hard to listen to.
Yeah.
I was very not happy with listening to that one because their arguments were just like Dershowitz was like, if somebody, this guy's, I hope you're one of the ones that has to go out and get the guns because you're going to get shot. Yeah. When you go around door to door trying to take some of these guns you're talking about, dude, somebody's going to get killed.
Yeah.
But at any rate, watching this thing was awesome, though. And then they actually had an Edward Snowden 7-minute clip that they played during it as well. But, man, it was... and Alexis Ohanian, who just said the same thing over and over again, but was very, these guys are doing this shit. They're doing it. Mm-hmm. But we can't catch a guy who's going to... Again, your guys' technology sucks in one aspect. You can't stop that dude. He put a YouTube video out an hour ago. You can't make a phone call? I mean, you guys are picking up everything, and we know you're looking at it. I can't wait to see the list. Do you think you're going to be on the list?
I'm going to be mad if I'm not on the list. I don't remember who it was that I saw the article from about that. I first saw that news story in my Facebook feed. I don't remember exactly who posted it. I think it was the Advocates for Self-Government, but I immediately commented on it that I said, any of us who are not on this list need to step up our game.
Yeah. Did you hear about this?
No, I haven't heard about this.
Okay, I
like being on lists.
Yeah, well, you might be on this one. The last revelation that Greenwald's going to put out is he's going to put out the list of the people that the government was spying on.
Really?
Yeah, he says he's got a list of all the people that he got it from Snowden. The list of the people that the government were spying on. He's got a list. He's going to put this list out. Wow. Now, the thing is, one, it's just a cool idea to do. But the part about it, though, that's the important part and the part that really is going to piss the government off is all of those people will officially have standing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
They'll be able to go to court and sue the government because they were spied upon.
Mm-hmm.
That could be it might be upwards of 1 million people that are on that list.
God. Man.
I mean, I don't know how many
Now, it can't be a current list if Snowden has it.
Well, it's from a couple years back.
So it'd be 2008, 2009?
No. When did he pull that shit? Because he pulled it right at that time.
He pulled it 2010.
No, I think it was even 12.
I don't want to say for sure. I don't know.
It was
when he
after
pulled
Obama got reelected.
it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh, okay.
It was after Obama got reelected.
2013?
Yeah, that's when he decided to do it.
This
So
is
he
a
pulled,
list somewhere between 2010 and 2011?
no. It's as current as the end of 12. Because that's when he pulled it. It was when Obama got reelected, which was November of 12. So it was after Obama got reelected. So it had to be after November, sometime in that time frame right there. I don't remember exactly, but it might have even been later than that, though. I mean, I remember watching it. He just pulled that stuff. Remember, because he pulled it all
Right. He
and then
pulled
bounced
it.
out.
Yeah, he pulled it and ran because he knew that they
This could be as early as 2013.
It could be like January 2013.
He really didn't think it all the way through either.
Well, he's
Probably
not dead or in jail, so he thought it through enough. He thought it through more than a lot of people.
Scared of for his life.
There are a lot of dumbasses that would have been shot in the back of the head by a NSA agent before they got out with the
he's
info.
gonna eventually they're going to get him.
But I mean, the thing is, I saw a piece of the interview that he's doing with Brian Williams on NBC, and the point that he made, he's saying, you know, everybody's focusing on one job that I have held, this low-level analyst position that I had. He's like, I am a trained spy. I work undercover on systems in foreign countries under aliases, under complete false pretenses. That's what I do. That's what I've been trained to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a spy. He is the
from a
modern day
technology
spy.
standpoint.
Yeah. He is the modern day spy. He is a cyber spy.
Yeah, he's like he ain't like a Bond. You know, what I mean, he ain't running around with a gun. And
No. He sits behind a desk with a computer.
Yeah, he's worse than that because
Yeah, he
he's
can go
working
anywhere.
for whoever overseas as some programmer while he's hacking into all the systems in that country or whatever. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the modern day spy, really. There's more of that going on than there is the James Bond style espionage, because it's a different world. Communications are done completely different.
And I just never can understand why anybody calls this dude a traitor, by the way. Like, I never can figure it out. Like, are you not mad that they're doing this to you? You know what I mean? This dude didn't give it up because he wanted to be a Russian.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he's in Russia now, but it wasn't by choice. That was the last place.
Yeah, and it's not like he's going there saying, I'm giving up my citizenship, and America sucks. You guys are all stupid.
If anything, it came out right away that he donated to Ron Paul.
Yeah.
That dude gave money to Paul's campaign. If anything, the guy's a libertarian. Mm-hmm. You know, which if you want to say libertarians are traitors, well, to your traitors, to your unconstitutional system, maybe. I'll go with that.
The president himself has said that a couple times.
Yeah. Well, they write reports that say that. Shows bastards. The Mayak report. I mean, the Mayak report. What a bunch of shit. What a bunch of shit that is, by the way. Oh, if you want to call the program, by the way, 1-800-525-4032. 1-800-525-4032. That is funny if you think about it, though. Like, do you remember the first time you read the Mayak report?
No.
You know what I'm talking about, the Mayak report?
Have no idea.
Okay, hold on. Let me tell you here. I got to be able to spell it then. Just got to go to Google first, though.
While that we're on the same topic though, of the NDAA, and while it's still fresh because Lucas was just in the middle of the campaign, apparently David Jolly has reversed his campaign position. That he was completely against the indefinite detention of American citizens, but today he voted the other way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait, just a few months ago, weren't you? Wait a minute.
No.
Yeah.
I'm elected now, douches. I don't have to do what you want me to do, suckers.
I mean, you voted for me.
Hey, come on. I got your donations, and I got your vote. What else? I don't got to do anything for you.
Yeah.
I got what I needed.
Hopefully, Lucas whoops his ass this fall.
Oh, I hope so. It's only him against the other, and it ain't like the Republic. Here's the thing: it ain't like the Democrats are going to go for Jolly.
No, that ain't happening.
If anything, the Democrats would rather see Lucas in 16 than see Jolly in 16.
If Pinellas Democrats vote for Jolly after the things they were saying just 2 months ago,
Yeah, really.
they deserve nothing but ridicule forever.
It's just getting enough of them out. Actually, it's really what it's going to come down to be.
Yeah.
Well, but Amendment 2's on the ballot, though. That's going to help a lot, though. And they're going to be motivated because of Christ. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot working in his favor right now. A lot more than you would think normally.
Wow, and through that campaign, he actually used the Constitution and quoted it.
Oh yeah, all the time.
The Constitution, specifically in the Fourth Amendment, prohibits the indefinite detention of American citizens, and any law that conflicts I do not support. Yet you voted against House Amendment 676.
Yep.
Well,
Oh no, he voted against House Amendment. Oh no, yeah, he voted against the thing that was going to take it out. Yep.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Now, why do you think that happens? Do you think like he really did believe that before he got elected?
No,
And that when
no.
he gets there, the 10 other guys are like, "Hey, listen, come with us, and then we'll back you on this thing later."
Sometimes that happens with him. Absolutely not.
No, he was
never
just
believed
lying
in
from the
free-
beginning.
He was a
lying from
lobbyist for the
beginning.
military industrial.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a lobbyist for the military industrial complex. I mean, for all intents and
I mean,
purposes, Raytheon. I don't remember the exact names, but he lobbied for a lot of that stuff. He actually lobbied for the bailout.
Yeah.
Or lobbied for the money for it, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Technically, he lobbied for the money for it, but he was still part of it.
Still, I mean, if you're lobbying for the money for it, then that's
guy was up there
for support, right?
This guy's up there the whole time. I mean, this guy's been up there for a long, long time. He's part of the problem, and that's the thing. Now, Sink wasn't any better, and Lucas was by far the best when it came to messaging. I thought, you know what I mean. The other people had horrible messaging. I mean, it worked, but I mean, it was bad though. Like it was everything wrong with politics was shown in that race.
Well, anything is a better message when you throw it on every other commercial.
Oh, I
even
know,
if
right?
it sucks, it's like
Yeah, it's the
you
only
hear it
other thing you
over and
see.
over and over. You're like, okay, I believe it.
Repeat a lie enough, and it becomes the
Well, that
truth.
and you got AFP going out there running their game when it comes to just saying bad things about Sink and not about anybody else. Mm-hmm. You know. But I do, since he doesn't know this one, this is a great thing to say though. The MIAC report. So what the MIAC report was is that the Missouri Information Analysis Center and the Missouri State Highway Patrol put out something they called the MIAC Strategic Report. It was put out in 2009. They called it the Modern Militia Movement is what it was called.
Nice.
So,
I like this movement.
well, here's the thing. Well, they don't. Basically, what the MIAC report said is that, let's see here. Let me get to the meat of it. I don't want to read the whole thing. Let me go. The militia post September 11, 2001. During the time period that militia had lost the attention of the mainstream media and public, because they talked about what happened in Oklahoma City as being part of the militia movement. So the Oklahoma City bombing was part of it in their mind.
Wow, how they tie those two things together?
There was a loose connection between some of the guys, McVeigh and his other guy.
Nichols.
There was some of that there, but there's a whole lot of other things that go along with, like, that's a whole different conspiracy all in and of itself. But
That was the FBI, but that's for another
yeah, I mean,
discussion.
let's just go with the fact that these guys did it, though. And so during the time period, the militia had lost a lot of attention of the mainstream media and public, but continued to exist. The Southern Poverty Law Center. So these guys, in their MIAC report, go to the Southern Poverty Law Center, which we'll get into later, but they're really bad too. Reports that between the Oklahoma City bombing in 95 and 2005, that roughly 60 right-wing extremist plots were uncovered. And so they talk about some of the noteworthy things. The former leader of the Texas militia was arrested for conspiracy to attack the Houston Federal Building. Half of these guys were on the CIA's payroll. Like,
Wow.
Not to go AJ on it, but on record, these guys were, now they said they were informants for the CIA, but you're on their payroll.
Right.
If you're informants doing bad stuff, you really have a bad job of picking informants. Like, this is the
Well,
guy that's
yes.
supposed to tell you about this stuff. So they, two members of a group called Project 7, which probably had like five people in it, two of them were probably feds, were arrested for plotting to kill judges and law enforcement officers in order to kick off the revolution. Like, that was going to work, by the way. Michigan militia member killed a state trooper in an attempt to serve him a warrant. So basically, they go into all these really, really bad things that happen. But in giving the MIAC report, and I'm trying to get to the point, it's been so long since I've seen it, but they talk about like RFID chips. So this is some of the fears these people have. Oh, let's get it in here. Additional motivators for militia activity. Ammunition's Accountability Act, so they're worried about the ammunition, like them printing information on the ammunition. Anticipation of the economic collapse of the U.S. government. So these militia groups think that the U.S. government's going to fall because they're printing money out of thin air, you bunch of dumbasses. And so if you believe in that, then you're probably one of these people. Possible constitutional convention. So people that were in favor of a con, which is a bad thing in and of itself anyway, but we'll get into that a different day. That was another thing that if you believed in that, then that was a bad thing. If you were against the North American Union, which totally was going on, still going on, universal service programs. So when they talked about Obama having an army that was just as big and just as well equipped, people that believed in what the president said, that they're bad. If you had a problem with RFID chips, that was another problem. Now they also talked about kinds of people, like their ideologies. So if people had a Christian identity, white nationalists, which that's the skinheads and stuff. You got the sovereign citizens. Now here's the thing: you're going to put sovereign citizens in with white nationalists? Like, why? It's not the same thing. Militant in abortion, tax resistors, so people that think that the 16th Amendment wasn't actually codified into law, which it shouldn't be, and you shouldn't have to be able to pay taxes. Anti-immigration. So that was another thing. If you're anti-immigrant, if you hit any of those categories, the law enforcement thinks you could be a bad person for just one of those things.
Does any of this get me on the list?
Well, the Libertarian Party is a political party in and of itself, is not on the list, unfortunately.
All right.
Well, I wouldn't.
However, a lot of things libertarians do will get you on the list. Number one symbol is the Gadsden flag.
Yep.
Also, anything with Moulin Labe.
Yeah, these are the symbols.
Down U.S.
Like if you have one of these flags, that counts.
If you've watched Zeitgeist or America, Freedom to Fascism.
Oh, which is a great movie, by the way. Freedom to Fascism, phenomenal movie.
Or you've read the Turner Diaries, then you're going to be on the list. All three, by the way. Thank you.
I've never seen the Turner Diaries, though.
Well, that's a book. I don't know if it's a movie. But it's a book. I read the book. I mean, it's. I read it for the same reason I read Mein Kampf, because I was curious what's all this about, and I mean the Turner it's something that's been used by McVeigh and a lot of other militia and revolutionaries in the United States. It's a book kind of like oh man, now I'm drawing a blank. Catcher in the Rye. It's just one of those books that it flags you as
a bad person.
A bad person. You have interests outside the norm.
Now here's the thing. In all honesty, America, Freedom to Fascism literally is a movie that shows the proof of there's nothing in Freedom to Fascism that's untrue. Mm-hmm. The whole thing is true. I mean, Aaron Russo is the same guy that did. He's the same director that did. Oh my gosh, what's the movie? It's Eddie Murphy was in it. Dan Aykroyd was in it. Trading Places. Trading Places. He's the director of that movie, and then in the 90s there was a little bit of a tax movement going on at the time in the 90s that got built up. Where it started getting somewhere, and he caught wind of it and started looking at it. It's just amazing that they're going to put that movie on there. Look, I've literally rented a movie theater in Orlando, Florida, and played America, Freedom to Fascism. I would love to do it again. I actually would like to do it at a local movie here. I think you ought to invite people to go watch that movie. That was the one movie that, if you want to talk about the one movie that really was like, oh crap, what are they doing? It was that movie right there. Mm-hmm. And that's on this and Zeitgeist, really, it's the beginning of Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, it's an anti-Federal Reserve System film.
Well, so Star Trek.
Yeah, well.
You should put Star Trek people on this one if you're going to do that then.
Yeah.
So a whole lot of stuff.
And both are like, well, this isn't good enough. We got to go full comic.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that stuff's been like all over my Facebook for a very long time.
Yeah.
Which means I could be on the list.
Well, have you watched them?
1 million people can I get on the list?
See, like all your friends are on the list. See, that's the thing. You might be ashamed of yourself because you might not be on the list because all your friends are on the list because they watched it, but you didn't watch it.
You got to be on a march against Monsanto or something. That'll get you there. That'll get you there quick.
Yeah,
that'll get you moved to the front of the line.
Oh, that's Danielle right there. Danielle's my wife is all. She's very Monsanto'd out.
Yeah,
it's just I couldn't believe the number of people there.
The big one. They had a big one in Orlando last week. Huge one in Orlando.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It was a big movement.
Yeah. And it is funny that this report did finally come out, though. Like, it's amazing. Like, and if you look at it, you read it, like, well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Oh, crap, that too? We ended up, when Adrian was on the show, we did was it a 4-part series on this?
I think so, yeah.
We did a 4-part series on this where we kind of laid it all out, one at a thing. Like, we had there's a FEMA one that shows, like, in order to prepare what you should have to prepare. And it would show all the month's worth of food, cash on hand, all this other stuff. Then you get to the MIAC report, like what spot somebody's a terrorist, 30 days worth of food, cash on hand, like all the same things got you on the list.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then we talked about, the remember the work order? Because it was the one work order that we had.
Mm-hmm.
So, crazy. All right, let's get to something else, though, man. It's
11:30. Should we do a break?
You want to do a break?
Let's do.
All right, go to the.
I'm at the page.
You have the YouTube channel?
I'm at 1787. Should I go to the YouTube channel?
No, go to Adrian Wiley's YouTube channel.
Okay.
Remember, because all the stuff is on his damn YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like some pudding with your pudding pop?
Now, what was that you were just on?
What, just now?
Yeah.
Ah, crap, I turned it off.
I love how it's been searched enough on YouTube that all you have to do is put Adrian W. and he is suggested.
And he shows up?
Yeah. I love it, quite frankly.
It wasn't the Monk debate.
Damn it. You're talking about the MIAC report, right?
Yeah, MIAC report.
All right, let me get that back up. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Which I just need to know what it was.
Oh, no. If you go to google.com
Uh-huh.
and you go MIAC and then report, REPORT, hit enter. Now there's a PDF, and that's from there's a PDF at least that came up from top here.
Right.
Is I got from Constitution.com, but then you got Wikipedia.com, and you can go to the other ones as well. So,
And which year is this? Is this 2012, 2011?
the MIAC report was done in 2009. Yeah, February 20th of 2009.
I have the 2012 year.
Well, if you just hit it, it'll give you the search results right now.
There you go.
That one.
This one right here?
Yeah, you can use that one up there.
All right, I'm at Adrian's channel. Which video you want to do?
All right, you're looking at a bunch over there. What do you think?
A bunch of videos here.
Well, don't do like a campaign one. Do like an earlier one.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
How long is we might be a libertarian. How long is that one? Doing banjos? That might not be very long, though.
Yeah,
it's not long enough.
Minutes. I'm not seeing that in the list.
It's old. Give him something that's like 7 minutes long or something like that, or 5 minutes long.
That's what I'm trying to find. Adrian's too verbose.
but there's some skits in there, though, isn't there? Oh, how about the church one? How long's the church one?
The church one?
The town hall?
No, the church one, the Libertarian Spirit one.
The Church of the
The
Libertarian.
church, yeah.
I'm not seeing that one.
Are you on the YouTube? Are you on his YouTube channel?
I'm on his YouTube channel.
You got issues then. He better not have taken those down. I swear if he takes those things down, he better not be taking those things down. Damn it, I bet you he did. No, there's no way.
That's like the best one I've seen, so.
Hang on here. All right, hold on.
What about Adrian Wiley fights the U.S. Commerce Department, Census Bureau, American
How long is that
Community
one?
Survey? 6 minutes, 58 seconds.
Yeah, that's a good one to do. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, yeah, some of these are kind of long, aren't they? That's 6 minutes, 58 seconds there, so. Oh, some of these are funny, though. Oh, yeah, some of them are long, too. Damn, they're long. Oh, there's some good videos in there, too. Boy, we really did some good stuff back in the day.
Back in the day.
I mean, if you
Okay.
think about it for the show, though, man, remember when we did the show and we were just down in... Oh, a lot of them are early, dude. Yep. The FEMA ones is a 4-part thing.
All right. Adrian Wiley fights U.S. Commerce Department. You want to do this?
Yeah, do that one.
If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Welcome back to Liberty Underground on the 1787 Radio Network. All right. We've talked on past shows about my ongoing battle with the United States Department of Commerce because they keep sending me the American Community Survey, and I keep refusing to fill it out because I'm not legally or constitutionally bound to do so. This is not a census year, and if it were, I would only answer that there are 4 people living in my household. However, just yesterday, I got another notice from the United States Department of Commerce. I'm holding it up here. And it says, within the last few weeks, the U.S. Census Bureau mailed American Community Survey questionnaire packages to your address twice. You are now required by U.S. law to respond to the survey. The Census Bureau is required by U.S. law to keep your answers confidential. If you have already mailed back the questionnaire, thank you. If you have not, please complete one and send it now. Your response is critically important to you and your community and your country and blah, 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 blah. So it's saying I'm required by U.S. law. All right. U.S. Department of Commerce, screw you. And hey, Lee, I tell you what, dial up this number. Let's do this.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
That's right. It's 800-354-7271. We're going to go ahead and tell the U.S. Department of Commerce, screw you, live on the air.
Thank you for calling the American Community Survey Helpline. We appreciate your interest and participation in this important national survey. You can find additional information on our website at www.census.gov/ACS. That address again is www.census.gov/ACS.
They use census, so you think you have to do
/ACS. To continue, make your selection from the following five
Don't you hate this stuff?
Yeah.
Sorry, I did not understand your last response.
Operator!
Please try again. To continue, make your selection from the following five options. If you know the option you want, you may press or say it at any time. If you have questions about the purpose of the American Community Survey, why you were selected, or concerns about the privacy of your answers or the mandatory nature of the survey, press or say 1. To hear about the purpose of the American Community Survey.
All right, look, hang up the phone, man.
No, hang on. I want to talk to a live person. Keep trying, see if you can get to a live person, Lee. All right.
You got 60 seconds.
Yeah. No, we got more than that. We got more.
All right, Lee's going to work on it.
All right, yeah. So, but, you know, I've already called these folks once and told them I refused. I sent back, you know, one of them saying return to sender. You know, address the
live there.
Well, that's the thing. They address it to the resident of. And when I did, the last time I did talk to a person in the Department of Commerce, they said I was going to be fined $5,000 for not filling it out, and they were going to turn the matter over to the United States Department of Justice. And you got somebody? I think Lee's working on it. Okay, we got somebody. Is this the United States Department of Commerce?
Yes, this is Leanne with the United States Census Bureau.
All right, Leanne. This is Adrian Wiley. You're live on the air in 1787 Radio Network. I am one of the people who received the American Community Survey, and I refused to fill it out. What happens now?
Actually, I can give you to my supervisor if you can hold for a moment, please.
Okay, we will.
Forever this month.
We don't have an answer to that very basic question.
Yeah.
What happens now?
Not.
Ooh.
I'm going to have you talk to the supervisor.
You know,
That's above my pay grade.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You have to resist this stuff at every turn. Don't let them push you around. Just say no. Just say no. You don't have the authority. You don't have the right.
Is the first person just like, I can help you count the number of people in your house?
I can tell you what number to push on the previous menu.
They keep addressing it to resident.
Right.
So, like, who are they going to find? Hey, go try to find that resident guy.
Exactly.
They've been looking for him all over the country.
All right. I tell you what, we do need to take another commercial break. So, Lee, keep working it. When we come back, we'll try to talk to someone live on the Census Bureau. That's live radio, folks. It doesn't work out always as planned.
No.
But, you know, I'm really curious to hear what they have to say. But you're listening to Liberty Underground, and we will be back in a moment.
Welcome back to Liberty Underground. If you want to call the program, the number is 727-441-3000 or 1-866-826-1340. You can also listen live at 1787network.com.
Okay, we've got someone on the air from the United States Department of Commerce. Are you there?
No.
No.
No?
Not yet.
He's not coming on the air. Hey, remind him that he works for us. He is paid with taxpayer dollars. Get on the phone. It's supposed to be this new era of transparency at your little Department of Status Commerce.
You know, all I got to say,
this guy wants...
This is the United States government, and they're afraid to talk to us.
Right.
You know, screw you, Department of Commerce. I hope the guy on the line can still hear that. You bring it. My name is Adrian Wiley. I live at 1458 Wexford Drive South. I am the guy who refuses to fill out your dumbass survey. Bring it.
I don't think you're allowed to say that on the air.
I just did.
Well,
There you go. There you go.
All right, I'm done.
All right, he's done. He's out. He's got nothing left, folks. He's
Adrian's
got
up for
nothing
the day.
left.
He's like exhausted. That was it.
Also, he wanted to say grow a pair.
Grow a pair.
It's
That's
right.
always
I
nice.
just want to say, if they do find me, I will refuse to pay the fine
Right.
as well, and I will let them jail me for not filling out a survey sent to residents.
Yeah, let them jail
Bring
resident.
it.
Find that guy.
Bring it. Yeah. Print the T-shirts.
I'm getting them. They're ready to go.
They're ready to go.
All right, hour one's in the bag. Hour number 2 is coming up. We got more just crazy times going on. I'm so excited I can't help it. There's going to be something very explosive happens in hour number 2. I can't tell you what it is because you wouldn't listen if I didn't. You're listening to Liberty Underground.
Well, welcome back then. We're back. All right. We're back to the show. 1-800-525-4032. You're listening to Off the Rails. We're just going off the rails. So we got to make sure we close that door here. When she comes back, we'll close the door. When V comes back. I like the V. I like to go V. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on that page. Once you get to all the videos and you can see them all, you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff there. Remember the one where we did for 7-Eleven? You remember during the 2012 election, they had a Romney Cup and an Obama Cup? Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't have any like Gary Johnson cups. And so we called 7-Eleven's corporate office live on the air. And they actually did get somebody on, and we talked to them for like 10 minutes. Yeah, it was a 10-minute clip.
Yeah.
And they took it. I give them credit, man. They took it.
I'm not having any fun.
Yeah, they go, well, it was a fun time. It's supposed to be fun. We're like, well, we're not having any fun. And they're like, well, did you sell a cup that wasn't Romney or Obama? They're like, yeah. And we're like, how many people bought those? Oh, we don't know. We weren't keeping count on that one. Like, I think you ought to have kept count on that one. It would have been nice to see that like half the cups were not Romney and Obama.
Right.
Well, they're not going to report that.
No.
Well, they reported Romney and Obama cups, though.
Well, me and Danielle were just talking about this with the text message I sent you the other day.
Yeah.
It was a 10-minute segment on the poll numbers for the governor's race right now.
Yeah.
10 minutes of, and not only of what it is right now, they went back like over the last year and how it changed every month and the regions in which it changed every month. And still the whole consensus was Scott's up 42-40. Not a mention, not even of just another candidate potentially, but no mention of a 20-point or so gap. Like no one would notice that, hey, 40 and 40 only equals 80.
Yeah.
Where's 18% of the vote at?
Yeah, so not even a mention, though, of that at all.
And that's based off of their skewed ass polling.
right.
Yeah.
They're still getting 18% because they're only counting super voters, and you know this election's going to have more than that. Sorry, just facts. They registered 700,000 people that are going to vote on Amendment 2 by themselves,
Right.
and they have no loyalty to anything else.
Amendment 2 is it.
That's all they care about. They just want to get high, which means they might vote for other people up and down the ticket, but they ain't married to anybody. Chris might have a little bit of an advantage in some aspects there, but those people are not going to. All they got to do is find out about Adrian, and it might be a different game right there.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to give crap who wins or who loses.
Yep.
You know. Matter of fact, they won't vote based off of that. There's people that will. They're not those people.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Well, all you got to do is find the ones who support Amendment 2 and the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, and Wiley's their man. Because you don't get that combination with anybody else.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you should be able to smoke pot, carry your gun while you're on your way over to the.
Yeah, hanging out with your boyfriend.
I think, yeah.
don't care.
A gay couple should be able to defend their pot field with their own guns.
I love it. I love that. That's the best way to say
Vote
it.
for me.
Right there. Vote for the Wiley. I can't even understand anymore why it's the problem. Like I don't. But there's so many people that agree with it anyway, though. Like even if the Second Amendment stuff, look, the vast majority of the people agree that the Second Amendment's a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Vast majority of the people believe that drugs are. You should be able to just have marijuana. I mean, again, the other drugs may require.
You should be able to at least smoke weed.
Yeah, at least that part. And the rest of it, if we said, look, we're just going to start doing treatment from now on, if you got the weed, as cheap as it would be, it would be way cheaper to do that. I mean, if we're going to go with the cost-based analysis here, that cost-based analysis means that we don't need that many people to do those things when it comes to like law enforcement. We don't need nearly as many of you if you just made it legal, because you don't need to be out there as much, and you should be focusing on the victim crimes.
Yeah, the real crimes. Yeah, you keep the same amount of people, and then actually see really bad crimes get solved.
Yeah.
Like
Over 80% of the murders in the United States go unsolved. The reason they cite for them going unsolved is lack of resources.
Yeah.
Maybe you should stop doing the DUI checkpoints and chasing down dime bag dealers.
Right. All I know is my store's been robbed, and I've been robbed at gunpoint carrying deposits, even back in the old McDonald days, and no one's ever been caught, ever. I've probably been robbed now, 7-8 times, and no one's ever gotten caught. Granted, they're probably in jail for doing something else. Well, they're probably in jail for carrying weed. I got caught for that.
Yeah.
But they're not in jail for robbing me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's make sure that the crimes get solved. I actually think that if you were going to be a libertarian running for sheriff, you should literally sound like a crazed whatever.
Yosemite Sam.
Not like Yosemite Sam, but you could.
I tell you,
not like it's kind of funny. Not like that though, but like almost like you could run as a. Dare I say it, like you could run as a neocon, basically. You should run like a neocon would run. And here's the thing. It's just how you say it, though. I am going to vigorously go after every victim crime that there is. Nothing will happen. You will not get robbed. You will not get murdered. You will not get raped. And if you do, we will find out who it was and we will put them away. It's going to happen. It's the law of the land. We're going to make sure that nobody has their rights infringed upon ever. In saying what I just said, I took a completely libertarian position, if you think about it.
Absolutely. You did.
But I sounded like a crazed ass, like we're coming for all the, what Narco does, right? Or whatever they do. All the guys do this. The intimidation tactics I'm not saying they shouldn't be there for cops. And again, I believe in law enforcement. So, I mean, I think that you should have local county law enforcement that is there to protect your rights and should do it vigorously. You know what I mean? They should be out there. If somebody steals a bike, again, put some priority on some of the stuff. I understand. I mean, you can't just, the bike stealers, okay. I mean, you find them. You can find them, but I don't need you shooting those guys, though. I mean, let's make sure we get the crime. Like, I'm not just going to start killing everybody, but I'm saying is if you commit a crime and there's a victim, we're going to find you. That's how libertarians should run for office and should be adamant about it. Like, I'm going to do this and this. And then they go, what about drugs? I don't have time for that stuff because you know what? I got to find the people that are victimizing you. And if that person happens to be doing drugs, then we're going to bust him. But we're going to bust him for victimizing you, and that's going to be the law of the land. And I think people might go, oh, yeah. How many crimes go unsolved here? You got to have the unsolved crimes in the, county stat. I'd love to run for sheriff, man, but I'd never do it.
Yeah. You really need a law enforcement background to credibly run for sheriff. Really. I don't necessarily think you have to have a criminal justice degree or anything, but I think to have a credible run as sheriff, you have to have some sort of law enforcement, at least a criminal justice degree. If you were not law enforcement,
don't you have a criminal justice degree to be a cop, or at least
depends on the municipality.
Oh, okay.
I mean, most do now.
I mean, you got to go through the police academy.
Yeah,
right. But I think part of the police academy is getting the
a lot
all the prerequisites for that degree.
Well, it's not like they really want you that smart either, though.
No.
Just if you get too smart, if you get too smart, they won't want you there. There was a guy that wouldn't get hired, and when they asked him why he wouldn't get hired, they said, "Well, because you scored too high, and you don't fit the like." There's a criteria that they want of IQ level, and if you go too high in it, then they don't want you there.
Yeah, you don't need to be thinking too critically here.
Well, and they look at it as from a numbers game. Though they're like, "Well, you're going to get too bored in the job, and you're going to leave." I mean, that's what they say.
Well.
Again,
you can get too bored in the job and figure out how to break into files.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get. Well, I think what it is you're going to have the ability for critical thinking, and you're going to realize some of the wrong things that they're doing, and you're going to say, "I have more." If you're smart like that, sometimes you're going to have some honor with yourself.
Yeah, and you're not going to stay a cop. Really, is what
you'll leave.
What's told. For one reason or another, you're not going to last in the job.
Yeah.
So,
I like my cop. I like my chief of police. He's okay. I don't like my sheriff, though. Ooh, boy. That guy's like a terrorist.
Grady Judd.
No. Not from Pasco.
Just
Pasco's
kidding.
got and I wouldn't like Grady much either, though. To be honest with you, he's good on some of the victim stuff. It's when he does the victim stuff, he's great. But when he does the victimless stuff, and he's the head of the state's sheriff's association.
Yeah. The thing is, the ferocity with which he goes after the victim crimes is awesome. He goes after the victimless crimes with the same ferocity.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I don't want you there.
Yeah.
You know. And those guys
But go after all the kid touches you want.
Oh, please do. You should be busy doing that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You should waste no more time.
I love
on
that
the-
operation where they got led that guy from Colorado.
Yeah.
Got him. That was awesome.
I mean, and what you see here with guys in masks on video, and that's how you're going to hold a press conference. Look, I understand the need for undercovers. Completely understand the need, and I understand the need for having to hide your identity for the most part if you're going to work in law enforcement and be undercover and stuff. Don't put them on TV and just put a mask on them though, and try to intimidate it like it's like it's a damn Al Qaeda video.
Right.
That's what this guy did, and this is also the organization that did the START program in Pasco County. We talked about. Did we ever tell you about this?
No, not
Oh
yet.
shit, sandwich. There was something in Pasco County called the START program, and what this program was is that they found a neighborhood that was, the neighborhood itself is on 19 off of, you know where the Burger King is, like down in Holiday area way?
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know the Holiday area.
You know the Holiday area? I don't remember the side road there. Is it Moog? No, it's not Moog, right? It's south of 54, though.
I think it might be Moog Road.
Maybe it's Moog Road.
I think it's Moog.
So in the corner right there, if you go that way, there's a development back that way, right?
Okay.
They locked that in, not the entire, they locked the front of the development down, and they also went like 5 or 6 blocks around in that area, and they locked it down. They brought in basically every government agency that you could bring in. So like DCF they brought in animal control, they brought in, the cops, they brought in SWAT, they brought in
Code enforcement.
motorcycle guys, code enforcement.
For what? Like, how do they all intertwine?
They're just like, we're going to come in and clean this neighborhood up.
What they were doing is they were going around and knocking door to door, and they were basically trying to find out if you were violating any of the laws that these organizations would cover, and if you were violating any of those laws, that we're going to bust you for something. Now they masked it in saying that they got warrants to serve, and so they're going out there to serve the warrants, but they're going to everybody's houses, and they locked the whole thing down. Like you had to show your ID to get out of the neighborhood for a little while. It wasn't all day long. It was a couple hours. But that's what they did, though. They went around and they did this to this neighborhood in Pasco County. Now, we didn't find out about it until after the fact. If we found out at the time, we would have gone, but we didn't find out about it, and they haven't done it since. And this was about maybe a year and a half ago, I think. So, but this is what these guys are doing here, though, and this is why they want the tanks too, because
it's a gentler version of exactly what we were doing in cities in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah. And the military guys are used to it because they're the cops now.
Yeah, now the cops came home, and now the cops.
All stressed out and crap because of what they had to do over there. Because of a war you guys started based on what you said before. Based on a lie. Oh, now we got to deal with these guys. And the reason we have all these things, and every one of these police departments got these things on the cheap. Like, it was like, how much was it? Like $8,000?
$6,000.
$6,000. Like, their budget
Less than
funds.
a Camry.
Yeah. Their budget funds would cost them $6,000
For a tank?
to buy
For a
one of these
tank.
tanks. Yeah.
For a surplus tank from the U.S. military.
I want to buy a tank.
Yeah, right. Well, they ain't selling them to us. Right?
Well, they're selling them to municipalities.
Yeah, to
On
police.
the cheap.
Wow.
$6,000.
Because the military bought a whole bunch of these things. These are the ones they were using in Iraq.
Oh, that's great.
Like, what a bunch of dicks. And it doesn't cost them hardly any money, though. Like, if that thing is worth $600,000, then the government, the state government or a local government shouldn't be able to access that thing
For $6,000.
for $6,000.
Which means we got totally ripped off.
Well, the thing is, the ones that we took over there, we don't bring back.
No,
we
we
just
leave
sell them to the Iraqis. So they now get what we had. So that's why we have to keep developing weapons, because every time we have a war, we just
Leave all of it.
yeah, we just left all of our armaments, and we made our enemy as technologically advanced as we are.
Then we take all the computer related stuff out
Well,
of it and all that.
Yes.
They strip those things down, so it's just a shell of a.
Yeah.
God, I hope so. God, I hope so. You never can tell with these fools, though.
Here, try to figure out how to use it, and if you can figure it out, well then.
I mean, and you got to remember too. There's very few. I mean, when it comes to like the comm stuff, Like all that comm stuff all comes out anyway, so they have to burn their own comm in there.
Here's the thing: go Google like pictures of Palestinian and Yemeni and like all these like places where they're having a protest against the Western Devils, and just count the M16s.
Oh yeah,
that's a game I like to play, and you know where those come from. I mean, the AKs, it's like, well, they could be Chinese, they could be Russian. Who knows where they came? Well, the M16s, we kind of know where they came from. Yeah,
we're a bunch of. And the problem is too is that it's not the military, it's these damn people in charge. Mm-hmm. It really comes like even if it doesn't matter which administration, they all do it. That's the one thing you got to know is look, when you got to remember, think about Iran. Just think about the totality of our relationship with this country since '53. Mm-hmm. And you tell me where we should be at right now, considering all the stuff that's been done. And again, these are bad people, by the way. Look, the mullahs suck. It's this. You know what it is? Let me say something else. I was watching. This History Channel has this thing called World Wars.
I've been watching it. I was watching it before we left to go. Oh, it's awesome.
Look at Germany. Mm-hmm. That the conditions were set because the Treaty of Versailles was so bad. Mm-hmm. That it was so restrictive. It caused for the rise of fascism. And that fascism was actually supported by, and again, people get mad when you make this comparison, though, but until they realized what a bastard he was, they liked his fascism here in America, if you were one of the progressives. You liked what he was doing. He was Man of the Year for time before they found out everything that was going on. I mean, before he started a world war. But they liked what he was doing. They liked what Mussolini was doing.
And he liked a lot of what we were doing, too.
Yeah. But, like, that was here until it happened, and then we had to go fight him out. But we weren't fighting the ideology when they don't even understand that that's how the ideology got there to begin with. Like, you're breaking it to get to that, you dumbasses. You did it with Iran. You shouldn't have broke. Here's the thing. If they're going to socialize the oil fields, it's their business, not our business. You know? You overthrow their guy for a dictator for 30 years? Are you kidding me? You know?
And you expect no one to get mad at you.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I understand there's still bad guys and everything, and I don't think you should do anything. Like, let their people overthrow them.
What I'm interested to see, and I don't think it's going to happen, but what I find most interesting is Hitler's involvement in the Middle East and his influence over there. I forget the name of his radio. The German radio station was being rebroadcast by the mullahs in Iran and a lot of the leaders in the Middle East. And it's actually the Western anti-Semitism that exists now in the Middle East came from the Nazis, and it came from Hitler. The anti-Semitism that they have now is actually Hitler's legacy, because they didn't really have this sort of anti-Semitism there before Hitler came along. There was feuds between Muslims and Jews, but the mentions of Jews in the Quran, it's mostly of where the Muslims defeat them. I mean, they're not portrayed as some kind of oppressor in the Quran. They're really just kind of lesser people, if anything. So the anti-Semitism that we have now in the Middle East is very different from kind of the original Muslim attitude towards the Jews, and it's Hitler that we have to thank for that. And they don't really talk about that a whole lot when they talk about World War II and Hitler's influence going east in the world. They only talk about going west.
Yeah, no, it's a very, and again, whenever you even bring up the word Hitler, it's all crazy. But this show is actually a great learning tool. Like, you got to understand the whole thing in order to figure this stuff out now, though. Even when it comes to things like Hitler. I mean, when it comes to things like, how did this happen? Mm-hmm. And are you watching the same thing happen again? Look, did you watch what's happened this past week, I guess, in the elections over in Europe?
Some of it.
Do you know what's going on over there? Are you familiar with this at all?
I mean, I'm not an expert on it. Well, but I'm trying to pay more attention to what's going on here.
But have you taken the time to actually read anything on this yet? And saying no is not a bad thing, by the way. I'm just curious on what.
Well, like I said, I've been reading some of it. I mean, what in particular are you?
Well, so they had the elections over in Europe, and a lot of the anti-European Union groups won.
Right.
Like, and the way it works over there is it's like Parliament, so they're winning percentages, but they're winning bigger percentages now.
Right.
They have a certain number of seats on Parliament. Well, a lot of these groups won, and they didn't win big overall, but they have definitely a voice now that's going to be a growing voice inside of the European Union that's anti-European Union, by the way.
Right.
There was only a couple voices before. Now there's a lot more.
Right. And the places where there were those voices, they're a lot stronger now, like Germany. Germany's really not liking this deal now.
Hey, we're like carrying the weight here. Come on now.
And England's like, glad we didn't get involved in this.
Well, yeah, but it's happened in all the countries though. And do you know why though? Do you know what a lot of the do you know anything about these groups? I guess maybe would be the other question. Like, we know that they're against the EU. Do you know what else they're against?
No. Like I said, I pay more attention to what's going on in our country than around the world. Like the political situations and the intricacies of other countries, I don't really pay that much attention to.
No, I understand, but I would tell you in some ways, looking at what is going on in Europe is almost a little bit like looking at a canary in the mine shaft.
Right.
What they're going to do, you might start seeing here, and it's a little weird. I gotta tell you, it's a little weird.
And that's why, to some degree, I do read that stuff. I can't tell you what the different political groups in Europe.
I can't tell you all that stuff either. I know generalities, to be honest with you. I can't. I only got so much brain capacity, man. I'm sorry, man. I really.
And again, we only have so much time. I mean, we're involved in the politics of our own country, and there's enough to deal with in that.
We had enough fucking problems over here, man. Yeah. I'm actually trying to pull this thing up because it was very interesting.
I mean, what is it that you're looking for?
It was a Huffington Post article, is actually what I read, but basically it was talking about how what these groups believed in, though. Now, and some of it was crap. They weren't all racist groups, but there is some things that they say though, and one of the things is that they're all very anti-Muslim.
Well,
like they're running on that stuff.
And Europe is definitely feeling the influx of Muslim immigrants, and
absolutely they are. But here's the thing, too, though. Let's talk about something race related, but at the same time, take ourselves out of the discussion. Let's just say, and you look at what happens on a globe, on a planet. Mm-hmm. In a long-term, short-term basis, because those things are things that you can see mapped out and see what happens.
Right.
And it's based off of a lot of different factors that come into play here. It goes off to the population. It goes on to how successful that they are, which means how many people they're going to produce, and they produce less kids at that point. Then other ethnicities or whatever come up, and then they have a bunch of kids, and then the population is always morphing like that. It's never set lines anywhere.
Right.
And the next set line that you're going to see that's going to go is going to be Europe. And what's going to happen is the majority of Europe will then be Muslim at that point, where right now it's not that way. And again, that's a race thing, but I'm not saying it in a good or a bad way. That's just what's going to happen. It's science and shit, you know what I'm saying? Now, they can change the rules and say, well, we're not going to let any Muslims in there and come over there. And, okay, that'll probably work for a while, but eventually it won't work. Because, honestly, you're going to have legal ways in which to get people in the country, and it's just a course of nature that it's moving this way right now. It has nothing to do with their religion or the other person's religion or nothing like that. Population patterns, you know what I'm saying?
No.
But these people are pissed, though.
Yeah.
I mean, damn pissed, though. And they're voting pissed, and they're running on that, though. Like, if you said in America, we don't want as many Muslims here, right? I know politicians will kind of say it, but they don't say it. It's like a platform plank for these guys.
Right.
You know, like, we hear
number 3, we want the Muslims out.
Yeah, all of them. One guy was for all of them. I want them all gone.
Well, clash of cultures.
Yeah, and that's what you're seeing.
Quite frankly, the holy wars aren't over yet.
It's true.
The Christianity, Judaism and Christianity is going to align together against Islam in the next holy war. Call it the next crusade or what?
God, I hope it doesn't happen.
What are you talking about?
World War
hope
III?
it's not going to. It's going to happen.
Look, right now it's banker finance, though. So if you can get rid of the bankers, then you can get rid of it now.
No, it doesn't matter.
Bankers.
Holy war existed before banks. In fact, it was religion that brought about banks.
Well, look, here's the thing, though. But it's the religions, though. It's the mechanism they have in which to fund these things. And if the mechanism was gone, then they couldn't do it anymore.
Well, they just break out
Alex.
swords. They might not use airplanes and stuff. It's swords and spears.
The riddle of steel. You've seen Conan the Barbarian. Right? Conan the Barbarian.
Okay, are you going to use Conan the Barbarian to try to prove a point like this?
Absolutely.
I don't think you're allowed to do that, but you can go
I'm
ahead.
going to lay it on you.
It's going to be funny, though.
Conan spent his life searching for the answer to the riddle of steel, right?
Yeah.
And he comes across Thulsa Doom, who gives him the answer. Steel is not strong, boy. Flesh is stronger. What matters the strength of a sword compared to the hand that wields it? It doesn't matter how much money you have. Religion, what we fight against, government control, is a very distant, almost unseeable second in religious control. Because nothing motivates people and nothing gets people to obey like spiritual blackmail and putting their eternal soul on the line. We all come to grips with our mortality one day or another, and we realize we're going to die. So you can't enslave us through force of government and threaten our lives. We'll eventually give up. We'll eventually say, fuck you, kill me. But when you threaten our eternal soul, well, things change.
Yeah, but what if the person threatening is like I said, a banker?
Doesn't matter. The bankers work for the churches. The bankers are religious. The bankers go to fucking church.
I think, but those people are utilizing religion. They don't even believe in the real teachings of Jesus.
It doesn't matter. The control mechanism is there.
Well, you can eliminate the control mechanism.
It doesn't matter. The holy war is going to happen. As long as the religions are around, they're going to find a way to try and propagate themselves and grow and take over. They're all founded on the premise that we are right, you are wrong, we're the only way to spiritual enlightenment, your way is wrong, you are sinners, and you must be gone. That's it. That's why we have these holy wars. That's why every single religion goes on these mad killing crusades to cleanse the idolaters or whatever. The Christians have done it, the Jews have done it, the Muslims have done it, the Buddhists have done it. Everybody's done it.
Did the Buddhists really do it, though?
The Buddhists are doing it now. The Buddhists are wiping out Muslims in areas of China. They are also want Muslims out.
Are you sure those
They are Buddhist monks.
Really?
Buddhist monks are leaving temples to forcefully eject the Muslims. If you don't leave, we will kill you. And they are.
Old school Buddhist monks.
Damn.
Don't let people fool you about Buddhism. Buddhists can be violent as well.
Oh, okay.
Religion is control.
Master martial artists.
Here's the thing, too. Like,
it's a movie.
Let me ask you a question then. And again, I don't know if you're going to, I don't know what your answer is going to be to this. Do you think that what the Buddhists are doing is wrong? Do you think a better question, is there a justification for what they're doing? Like, they're not doing it out of, do you think they're doing it because they just don't like Muslims, or they're doing it because of what those Muslims are doing when they get there? Do you think there's anything that they're doing that's propagating this, maybe?
Both.
Or both?
I think that everyone is, when it comes down to the choices based on your spirituality or religious beliefs or whatever, I can't tell you you're wrong, and I can't say that you're right either, because I don't agree with you. I don't agree with the Muslims or the Buddhists or the Christians or the Jews. But I can't tell them. I'm not going to prove them wrong.
Well, no. I'm not saying that, though. That's not my question.
But it's right for them. If they, I mean,
no, I'm talking about if somebody moves into this area and they don't do anything wrong, should you be able to just throw them out because of who they are, or do you think they're coming in and doing something? Like, this is happening all over the place, so it's like they're coming in and doing something.
Well, they are. It's designed that way. I mean, there are a lot of things that are spelled out.
Who's letting them in?
Islam is designed to propagate itself like this. I mean, they're supposed to grow and convert. And
yeah, but they could just change the law and get this thing fixed, though. Like, they could really boot them all out if they wanted to.
They could, but it's really the local solution. It's the local Buddhists saying, no, you're not living here, and forcing them out. I mean,
yeah.
it's like the old lynchings. I mean, it's basic when the entire town comes up to your house and says get out.
Well, do you think that what
law matters?
Well, do you think that what happened in America a long time ago? I mean, not a that long time ago, but pretty long time ago. Do you think that that's the same thing as what they're doing right there? Or do you think it's something different?
In a lot of ways, it's the same. In some ways, it's different. I mean, they're using whatever difference as a reason to say you're not welcome and to use violence against them.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, there's violence being brought into their cities because of it.
Do you think that countries have the right to control? Do you think other countries have the right to be able to control their immigration?
Yeah, I mean, any country has the right to do whatever it wants to do, and it has to pay for its repercussions as well. I mean, it's going to pay the consequences for what it does. Russia had the right to go communist, and they had the right to communism had the right to fall because it doesn't work. I mean, we have the right to determine our own government as well, and unfortunately, our government sucks because too many idiots have a right to determine what goes on in government.
Well, I would say not nearly enough people actually understand what's going on in government, so they can't make an informed decision. Ain't that the friggin' truth, by the way?
Yeah, I think it comes down to too many fools participating and not enough wise men.
Well, I got to tell you, man, we just put together something really nice. Hopefully you like it.
More wise men, less fools?
Well, no. What we did was put the scorecard together.
Put the what together?
Well, it's just one little thing, but we put the scorecard together to give people a better understanding of what's going on in Tallahassee. We did a scorecard: 20 in the House, 20 in the Senate.
Yeah, everybody
failed. But here's the thing:
like miserably, everybody failed. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even borderline.
That's trouncing.
1 B, maybe 10 C's overall, and the rest D's and F's.
Can I take a guess at who the B was?
Of who the B was?
You won't guess it.
You go ahead and try.
I'm not sure what the standards and everything are. Was it Jeff Brandes?
No.
Okay.
In the Senate, Brandes was 6th, I think. Behind Clemens, by the way. They dimmed down. He was up there, too. And don't get me wrong, the way it worked out was you had majority Republicans in the top and Democrats on the bottom. But you had them mixed up, though, because of the bills that we picked. Okay. We picked 20 bills, but it was a wide-ranging number of bills. Like, if you were very pro-gun, you would have got good points for being pro-gun because there was some pro-gun bills up there.
All right. See, that's why I say I don't know because I don't know what the criteria was.
But here's the thing. What we did was we literally gave a description of all 20 bills. We did the methodology, like how we came across to finding these bills, who we are, what we're doing, and like an introduction, like an overall kind of Jimmy deal. I don't know why I said Jimmy, but I think you knew what I was saying when I said Jimmy, though. So it's like a Jimmy deal. That's matter of fact. From now on, that's what it is. It's a Jimmy deal.
It's a Jimmy deal.
You know what I'm talking about when I say that. But this thing is, somebody was actually a friend was actually proofreading this document, and in proofreading this document, her response to it was, "Wow, I really learned a lot by reading that document." Like. She understood the issue. Like, you will be able to take this information and you'll be able to say exactly what your politician voted for. And if you go to any town hall right now and they're out there, you're going to be able to ask them questions and they're going to be on the spot. And you don't have to be a dick or mean or nothing or rude. You literally will be able to say, you voted for this and this is what this does. You got an explanation for this? And it won't even take very long for you to be able to do it. And you'll have everything in a report right there. You know exactly how we voted. Because you can't go, well, I didn't vote for that. No, yes, you did. It's right here.
On record.
Yep, and because on record, on record. But because and it's very professionally done. Like, it really looks really nice right now.
It does look pretty sharp.
It looks on par with any other one you've ever seen, if not better. So,
right on.
Out by the end of the week. Still got to proofread it again, though. You put something like this out, dude, you better proofread every word because they're going to come after you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you just failed everybody.
There is a comma supposed to be in the middle.
You all suck.
We gave one guy got a B. And here's the thing, though. We picked the 20 bills out without knowing who voted for what.
You just picked 20 bills and...
Well, they looked at a lot, and they said, well, what should count, basically? Like, what's pro or against liberty? What's either really positive piece of good legislation or a really bad piece of legislation? But Like, I'll tell you what didn't make it, by the way. Charlotte's Web didn't make it. Didn't think it was worth it.
Right.
The immigration ones didn't make it. Didn't think they were worth it. And there was too much of an argument on both sides of the fence on that one. There actually is an argument you can make for you shouldn't even have to write the law because they should be allowed. If that's your stipulations, equal protection under law states equal protection under law. Like, you say you want to enforce current immigration, okay, I'll go with that. They don't meet it. You got to change the law for that one not to work. You know about this law, right, or no?
No.
Okay. They were going to make a law that is going to allow what they call undocumented, not illegal, but undocumented, because there is a difference. There are people here that are undocumented but not illegal.
Right.
Kids. If you are here for 4 or 5 years before you turn 18, that you could be eligible to get in-state tuition rates.
Oh, okay. That's the one you're talking
For the
about. Yes,
state of Florida.
that one I do.
Now, one of the things about this, though, that I think was kind of funny is in-state tuition is not like a discount like if you're a Florida resident at Disney, by the way. The government does pay for that difference. Like if it costs $10,000 if you're out of state and $6,000 if you're in state, they're charging you $10,000. The state's paying for $4,000. That's the way it works, which I didn't know that beforehand. And if these kids are not illegal by the letter of the law, then they're undocumented. If they become legal, then they should be able to look. I would vote against it because I want you to get rid of the program.
Right.
But I don't want to vote. I don't want you to vote. It's got to be equal one way or the other. If you're going to offer this, you got to offer it all the way around. I don't want you to offer it though. You're not doing any good with that money anyway, though. If you took the money away, prices are going to go down because demand's going to go down, supply's going to go up. They're going to have to do more for the student because the student's going to have to pay for it all on his own dime. Community colleges will get bigger. You know what I mean? Universities will have to suck it up and go into some of that damn endowment they got. They got, billions sitting in, millions and billions sitting in endowments and stuff. Quit sucking off the taxpayer. You've grown up. You're a state university. Act like it. So, but at any rate. But that's why we couldn't put that bill in there, though. Because we had an argument going back and forth. We're like, well, they're illegal. We don't like the bill anyway. Why would we say it's a positive piece of legislation? I was like, well, we can't. So leave it out. Nobody gets hurt for it, but nobody gets any credit for it either. There was another bill out there, the local control for textbooks. They were going to give local control of textbooks. We didn't put it in there. You know why? Because they're going to give you like 2 freaking textbooks. It's like you can pick A or B. That ain't choice. That's the illusion of choice. Like voting Democrat or Republican. That's what they did.
Yeah.
So we're like, we'll leave that bill out.
You get to choose between 2.
But at any rate, a lot of these EU parties, though, boy, they were, very nationalist parties.
Yeah.
But
nationalism is very popular. Always has been, always will be.
I got to tell you,
very popular here.
I'm kind of, I'm a little bit of a nationalist myself.
You're a member of the National Socialist Party.
Well, I'm not a member.
We've determined that before.
I am not a
through
member
testing on the show.
Hold on a second. I am not a member of that.
Well, you haven't officially joined the party, but through testing, we've determined that you are a nationalist and a socialist.
I'm not a
especially
socialist.
For libraries,
foreign policy. Remember, you are fully socialist on foreign policy.
Yeah, but that wasn't
you are fully nationalist on domestic policy.
I didn't understand that one myself either.
Well, the results were you're a Nazi.
I don't. Wow. It was not that bad.
Nazis like fire departments too.
I was libertarian on a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
Is this a questionnaire?
Yeah, it was one of those score things online. I don't remember what it was, but it was it I side with maybe? It might have been
I side with. Yeah, it was I side with, and it was like, determining which party you align with on different issues, and then ultimately overall who you align with. And yeah, Alex scored a lot of nationalists, a lot of socialists.
Really?
Yeah. He's very strong on the military. That he's
here's the thing. That's how it ended up because I was pro-military, but I'm totally a non-interventionist though. I'm just saying we don't disband them. I'm just saying you bring them over here. But I do subscribe to the sheet of glass foreign policy though.
Yeah.
The sheet of glass foreign policy is like I think we should bring all the troops home. I don't think we should have troops in any country right now at all. If you mess with us, we will turn you into a sheet of glass.
Yeah, if you mess with us bad enough that we need to go to war with you.
We have to declare war. I don't want it to last a week. Like, I want it to go in there and F these guys up so bad that they will never do it again. Not only will they never do it again, no one will ever do it again. And if you do that, it will save you so much money.
So you're like a big fan of we're here chilling. If you mess with us, I will Hiroshima your ass to Allah.
Yeah, you're done. You're done. I do firmly believe in that kind of foreign policy. But honestly, I don't think we'd ever have to do anything about it.
You just have to threaten.
Because here's the thing: if it was a terrorist group in your country, that's another one. Look, that's why you have special forces. You go in there. If somebody did you wrong, instead of nuking the place, if there's a terrorist cell in there, you go get the terrorist cell. If the country that is holding that terrorist cell, you have to ask for permission. But if they don't give you permission to go get these guys and your actionable proof is good enough, you say, I'm going to declare war if you don't let me go get these guys, and we're going to bomb you, and we're going to kill these guys. Like, you're holding the guys that fucked us up, we're coming for them, and you better let us come and get them. Again, I would still say that is not a violation of the NAP by any shape, manner, or form, because they had to have done something to us. Look, they got to kill us. They got to kill Americans in some way, shape, manner, or form.
Right.
I don't think it would take that long. It would save us a ton of money. Everybody could be here chilling.
Yeah. Well.
Bastards. But that's why I scored what I did.
Yeah.
I think you like my foreign policy, Greg.
Well, that's my dad's foreign policy, so it's a foreign policy I grew up with. It's not one I necessarily agree with. I'm just very familiar with it.
You don't like it, though?
Not necessarily.
Like, if somebody messes up, you don't think we should declare war and just blow them up really bad? Are you more of a proportional response kind of guy?
Yeah, you can say that.
That's not a problem either, by the way. I'm not saying. Would you at least step the game up one more? Like, you ain't going even Steven, right? You're gonna kind of, if somebody hits you and you got to hit them back, you're always gonna put a little more oomph in that punch. I mean, you still may be a punch, but you put a little more in that one. You want to make sure you were on top of the deal, though.
To some degree, I do agree with that, with the sheet of glass foreign policy. But I think we do agree on this. It's really got to be strong for us to do that.
You have to declare war.
Yeah.
So it's not bullshit. You have to declare war.
Well,
and it better be the last thing you do. By the way, you better try everything else first.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, nothing that we've done in our lifetimes would warrant a war in my mind, and that's
September 11th would have been letters of marque and reprisal.
Well,
that's it there.
See, that's the thing, is it's not a nation. We're not going to war with a nation off of 9/11.
Oh, no.
And that's the problem. People wanted to. And that's part of why we went into Iraq. I mean,
the worst people were in charge of that.
We all like to blame the assholes in charge and talk about their ulterior motives because, again, we know we were lied to. But the people were asking for it, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we wanted somebody's head for this.
Hey, I was still in the Marine Corps at that time, and you should have seen their recruiting offices.
Oh, yeah.
Dudes were coming in 50 years old, going like, I want to sign up.
Dude,
I want to get these bastards. That was a regular thing. Look, we were turning people away left and right because it was like, dude, you're 50 years old.
I mean, for the most part, I lean more anti-military, and I'm the women in my family served in the military. All the men served in the military. The reason I don't go in the military is because my father was a drill sergeant during the Vietnam War, and then he was an MP, and he was escorting nuclear warheads, and my brother was in personnel during the Iraq War, sending people off to war, and they were telling me all these things about how the military works and what they really do. My dad, I think he was just trying to give me a clinical, logical, journalistic almost point of view of the military. But what it ultimately did was give me a clear view of what these bastards do. And I want no part of it. But after 9/11, I spent about 12 hours going, man, I think I'm going to go to a recruiting office and go get some revenge. Because I was pretty pissed off, too. Yeah, but it passed. It was a very emotional response. But that's the thing. Americans were calling for this. We wanted to find us a fucking country to attack because we're not having this. So that's kind of what happened.
Well, it was really one of those things where when you were watching it happen, it was amazing. Like watching people come in, it was just, it was weird. And they were pissed. I mean, you see the anger in their eyes. It was like, oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Even we were sitting there shocked, and a lot of us, like the recruiters, they weren't laughing about it, but they were really kind of like, okay, dude. You are not going in. He's like, if people were coming in for that reason, honestly, he was talking them out of it. Especially if they weren't of age. Like, if they weren't of age, then, or too old, I'm saying. Not too young, but too old.
Right.
They
probably like somebody like me.
Too old, and too old's like 32.
Right.
That's too old to be in the military. To just coming in. Like, if you're in for a while and you get hit 32, they don't kick you out at 32, but you don't go in at 32 normally. You have to have a lot of waivers for that. And they don't just get their shit out. You gotta have waivers for everything. I was supplied a recruiting office for 4 years. From 98 to 01. Yeah, 98 to 01. Because I actually got out in December of 01. And after September 11th, like, I was already getting out at that point. And I was like, well, I'm not re-enlisting.
Yeah. And I know exactly where I'm going.
Look, and the thing was this, though, before September 11th, I was already planning on getting out. Like, I was not planning on staying in the military. And the reason was I couldn't be told what to do anymore. Like, I was like, I'm not going to listen to these people anymore. I got to the point where, like, I was a sergeant in the Marine Corps, but there was always a new officer every couple of years that would always try to change everything up, and you always had to listen to him. No matter what, like, you couldn't do it the way you wanted to do it because this guy could come in and just change whatever he wanted to. And he's a guy that just spent 4 years in college and now is just coming into the military for the first time. Like, you got to train this guy on half this stuff because he doesn't even know what the hell he's talking about. And yet he's in charge.
Yeah, you've been doing it for 3 years, and he's just coming out of college, and he's going to tell you how to do your job.
I think that's pretty much any corporation for that matter.
Yeah. Welcome to the real world.
Well, the difference,
I've been here for 10 years answering these phones. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do.
Well, but these guys have your life in their hands, though.
Yeah.
Like we had to do field ops with these guys sometimes, and they would get us lost. And we'd be telling them, look, we got to go that way. Shut up. I know where to go. I'm like, oh shit. We were walking. Oh, this is a great story. And then this guy was in for a while, but just to show you what dumbasses, though. I was in Bridgeport, California. Have you ever been? You know anything about Bridgeport?
No.
Okay, Bridgeport's the mountains in California. It's a mountain range. And we had this hump one day, and what they call a hump is when you take all your pack and all your stuff and you walk for a long period of time. And with guns, and you're walking around and shit. Mm-hmm. All right, it was in the snow, though. This is cold weather training. This dude takes us off the path into like 4 foot of snow. Or no, I'm sorry, 3 foot of snow that you were falling into. You have an entire unit, 200-something guys, walking, and just can't get anything done. And he's looking at the map and just losing his mind. Like, it was a path. It was already made for you, man.
We've done this before. All of us have done this.
Yeah.
You just got here. And even if you just got here,
you
know to stay on the road.
I know it wasn't like the most, because it did snow beforehand, so there was snow where the road was supposed to be. But it's all there, though. Mm-hmm. You can still see, like, even if when it's snow, you can still see a bunch of stuff. Man, another hour went by already, huh?
Yeah.
Well, did we wrap everything up, by the way?
I don't know. Do we ever? It's off the rails.
Was there anything you wanted to add to anything?
No.
Okay. I'm just asking, because I just want to make sure. Sometimes I feel a little hoggy, so. And I felt like that tonight, like I was hoggy.
Well, I could go into my whole Obamacare.
Oh, you know what? Finish. No, I want to hear this. Let's hear this debacle, though. I really want to hear this, though.
So apparently, with the healthcare bill, there's different ways that doctors and insurance companies get paid. So Danielle, being 8 months pregnant, she has some genetic issue that like 15% of the population have, and you need to. It's with her blood type because she's type O negative. So you need to get a shot. You need to get an RH shot if you're one of these 15%, because if there's any type of pass through between her and the baby during delivery, the remnants of that, either one of them or both of them, their antibodies will go after and start killing them because they got us. Typically, forever, it's been just part of the standard. If you have your prenatal program, it's part of the deal. So she had to have it the first time, which the first time I did not have maternity coverage and paid all that $30,000 out of pocket. Or I should say I'm still paying that $30,000. And so this time she got pregnant, and I said, you know what? no pre-existing conditions. Let's go get some insurance because it's going to be a lot less. Got insurance, ready to go. The insurance company said, we're not going to cover it. So the shot's like $400. So I said, the doctor's office said, well, they're not going to cover it. So I called the insurance company. I said, well, listen, this isn't like an elective procedure. This is a procedure that has to happen, life and death procedure that needs to happen, and it's just a shot. You're paying for this whole pregnancy. The $400 part's really kind of minuscule, and that's my cost. Your cost on it is probably like nothing, you know? And so they finally agreed. They say, you know what? First, I had to teach them what it was, since they didn't know, had any idea what it was. I'm like, I'm reading to you from Google right now what it is, so you could have probably done this on your computer. And so finally they agree. So we call a doctor, set it up. Doctor's office says, we can't do it. So why not? They didn't agree to do it. They agreed they would pay for it if the hospital does it, if it's at the hospital. So now we can't go to the doctor's office to get the shot that we need. We can't go to the hospital because the hospital's going to be like, well, why the hell are you here for this shot? That should be done at your doctor's office. So the doctor gets pissed, and he's like, you know what? I've had it. He said, I played this game for this last year, and I figured it out. And it's frustrating as hell, but you're in your last trimester. And you're going to start getting aches and pains and cramps. Your baby's head down and really big already, you know, getting tall. Right now at this point, the baby is as tall as it's going to be. Now it's when it starts gaining weight. Right. So now this baby is feet up, and she's, you know, getting her feet under the rib cage and stuff. He's like, so you're going to have some cramping, and when you have some cramping, you know what, you need to go to the hospital, and your chart's going to say that you haven't had that shot when you're at the hospital, and they're going to have to give you the shot. So that's why I spent all day today at Tampa General walking and saying, I don't think she's in labor, but she's having some cramping. She's having some pains. Oh, well, let's hook her up to a monitor and see what's going on. We'll call your doctor, get your doctor over here. The doctor walks in, gives her a wink, and says, oh, yeah, you're looking pretty good. Time for you to go home. Oh, by the way, did you get your shot? Yep, They came in and gave her the shot and walked out. So the regulation is so bad that you have to work end arounds just to get around stuff.
Isn't that what we do in this country, though?
It's so stupid.
We are now set up to work the system. That's what we all do in every industry, work our way around the regulations and the laws.
It was absolute buffoonery, because they're like, yes, we will cover it, but only if it's administered in the hospital, not by your doctor. I'm like, you morons, because you just spent how much the hospital's billing you so much more than that doctor visit would have billed you. I mean, and you took up a room in a hospital that, hey, God forbid someone actually went to labor right now and needed that room. We were just sitting there to get a shot for 4 hours.
These guys are justifying their existence.
Yep.
The hospitals are, which they shouldn't need to, but they're doing it anyway, though. Well, because they make so much more money off that stuff. You know what I mean? You know how much they charged at that point? I mean, that's why the costs are out of control, is because they're forcing people into the hospital that always costs more money to go there than it does just go to your doctor's office. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the insurance companies are complicit in doing it. How they wrote the bill anyway. Bunch of bastards. You know? That's why. But the cool thing is...
And now they're about to get a whole bunch of money from the federal government.
Well, there's a lot of people that haven't signed up for this thing. You're looking at 15% of the doctors, and I think 15%... No, one's 25, one's 15. 25% of the doctors and 15% of the patients right now. They're not going to sign up for it at all. They're not going to participate. Some of them are moving to straight getting rid of insurance entirely.
I'm thinking about it. The only reason why I have it right now, because all we had was a catastrophic plan. The only reason why I actually got it is because we were pregnant. I knew that I was going to spend way more. So I was like, you know what? I'll grab it for a year, because you have to have it for at least 1 year when you sign up.
And that's why and that's also why the system itself is going to collapse. Because that's what they've set up. They've set that system up to where that's what people are going to do. And because it's so out of control for the cost there, what it shouldn't be to begin with, you should be able to pay cash and pay a lot less money than that.
Oh, absolutely.
You really should.
And there's places online right now that you can go to that, you know, doctors are doing stuff for cash only. And
Atlas.md, concierge medicine. Actually,
my doctor takes cash. If you don't have insurance, he'll take cash.
And
absolutely.
Those guys aren't even allowed, if they take Medicaid, to do that. Like, if they take Medicaid, they're not allowed to take it.
He doesn't take Medicaid, though.
Yeah, that's why. Like he can't even participate in the program that's helping the poor
because he helps the poor.
because he'll charge less.
Mm-hmm.
He'll charge less with than Medicaid would charge.
Yeah.
Or give his services away. He's not even
great.
allowed to do it. That's the shitty part. Like you're banning it.
You
like
can't.
you're dicks. It's
you
like
can't
banning
help
food.
the poor better than we can help the poor.
Well, yeah, no, that's exactly what their thought process
Because
is.
if we help the poor, we get a cut of that deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you help the poor, we get nothing.
See, if we help the poor, then we create at least 8 jobs. But if you help the poor, it's just the doctor.
Right.
And
If we help the poor, we had to hire a bunch of people to help the poor, and then the poor vote for us. If you help them, we get nothing out of this deal.
That's true. Nope, that's very true. That's why they're so.
not only do the poor vote for them, but the people that hired them vote for
Absolutely,
them.
because now all these people are
It's-
hired.
Isn't it like over 1/3 of United States employees are employed by a government organization? How are you going to get those people to vote for less government? How do you get somebody that works for the government to vote libertarian?
I know a couple. I know a very few, but I do know a couple.
I know a few people like that work for the city that are libertarians, but for the most part, I mean, how are you going to sell people at the DMV or at the IRS a libertarian platform?
Well, there's not that many people that work at the DMV and the IRS, though. Like those guys.
There are a lot of people that work at the IRS.
Well, no, they got a lot. I'm not saying they don't have a lot, but I'm saying they don't have like even then. It's only like 100,000 people,
and they got guns now.
Yeah, that is kind of scary, actually. Well, they've always had guns.
Well, they've always had guns. They got a lot more.
They got a lot more
ammo too.
And tanks, assholes.
Got enough ammo for.
Well, when you can get a tank for $6,000.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Look, those Atlas MD guys, the concierge doctors, you can do it for almost like it's $50 a month per person.
Yep.
And then you get a catastrophic coverage plan that covers the rest. You're set. That should be all we'd have to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm against block grants. I think they ought to get rid of most of that stuff to begin with, though. But that's the first solution is actually to say, look, man, we are radically changing this. You know what I'm saying? We're radically going to change this stuff, and it's going to take time. But the other market's already growing, which is the good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because the percentage of people that are out there is enough to start a market.
Yeah. I tell you that membership model over the insurance model is really appealing. I think that's really the way to go.
Well, those guys also have the ability to do like a lot of online stuff too. Like it's almost like you can get a doctor, like you can email them if you got a question about something, or
Right.
you can do an online chat with them or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And his staff goes down tremendously.
Yeah, exactly. You can ask them a question without having to go into the office and pay a copay, you know,
Right.
and at least determine whether, well, yeah, you should come on in and let me take a look at that, you know?
Like that model, in my opinion, is the solution.
Yeah.
I would
Eliminate
be-
the middlemen. Let the doctors.
Yeah, but there's going to be a whole bunch of bleeding hearts out there that say, man, there's people out here, $50 a person. Like, these poor people can't afford that.
Yeah, no. You're absolutely right. And that's actually something that I have heard. Actually, here's the thing. I'd rather you go to a government agency and get $50 and then go take it over there to get worked out with your stuff. It would be a lot cheaper than what they're doing right
Exactly.
Yeah.
now. Like you guys, they've screwed it up so bad is the problem.
How much does insurance cost, though?
You're looking at it's hundreds though.
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, I think our insurance is like $250 a month, and there's 3 of us.
And
That's $50 per person per month is less.
Yeah, and they've turned they've turned the free market on its head too with this too, because you don't pay for anything. Like you're not the one that's seeing the bill that's got to pay the bill. You know what I mean? Like when you have insurance, then it doesn't matter because you have insurance. So the deals that are worked out behind the scenes on this stuff make sure that it costs way more money than it should actually cost. Because if you had to go to your doctor and say, look, I got to come in for this, I got to come in for this, I got to come in for this, and you're going to go, well, this much is this much, this much is this much, and this much is this much. And you go, well, I'm going to go get a second opinion on this. I'm going to go find somebody who's doing it cheaper. That model in and of itself would actually help in
The cost, overall.
in the cost, because the doctors are going to have to do it cheaper, but they're not going to be able to. It's not even that they're going to have to do it cheaper. They're just not going to be able to inflate the price. These guys are using the system to inflate the price, which they wouldn't be allowed to do had people actually seen the numbers. Because they're like, well, I got the $25 copay. Well, it costs way more money than that.
And what it will do is force them to do their job better and more efficient.
Yeah, all the computer stuff should already be here. Government got in the way,
Yeah.
not the other way around.
Hell, we should be not driving ourselves anymore.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see these solar roads, by the way?
Oh, well, that's actually kind of what something I was talking about earlier was because I was pissed off about that.
Well, is it fake?
It's unrealistic.
What do you mean it's unrealistic?
They're out of their minds.
Why?
Okay, first of all, the government can't maintain stupid paved roads. How are we going to get them to maintain very expensive solar panel roads?
I understand. Okay, here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, and I think that when it comes to the roadway, those guys are actually wrong on this. But I do think that there is an application that would be awesome.
What's that?
Driveways.
Driveways and sidewalks. Start with sidewalks. If you want to do this as a government entity and like that, can we start with sidewalks first, please?
Can we do a test market?
Yeah.
Can it please just be, the sidewalk to the bus stop?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can keep that working.
Yeah, let's do like some sidewalk, a bus stop, a couple courtyards,
I think we should start with the driveways, though, make it individual.
Make it individual driveways and roofs.
Yeah.
Well, what is this about? I read the roof one. They start putting these panels on now that.
Well,
are
this is about solar
roof.
panels that you can lay on the ground and you can drive over them
they've made it. They've made a polymer or whatever kind of material that you can drive on, that you won't hurt anything by being able to drive on it, and it's all weatherproof.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. You got to have stuff underneath, and there's a whole thing going on there.
But now, this goes back to a problem that I was talking about earlier with the rare earth metals. Right now, we don't even have enough of them to produce enough solar panels to do this. And if we did,
because of the restrictions that already been placed, not to be allowed to go get them.
Yeah, and if we did, we got to buy it from China.
Because they're the only ones that have it.
So this is a really, really bad idea. The video is selling to federal and smaller government agencies this idea to get funding and grants, but it's one of those grand ideas that is not going to work, and it's way ahead of its time, and we don't have the technology yet. We have to get solar panels to a point where they are more cost effective and can be produced with more common materials than what they are now.
It's coming up. It's coming around, though. We'll get here eventually.
It's a great idea, but it's way down the road. We don't have the solar panel. The polymer is great, and that's a great application for it, but we don't have the technological ability with the solar panels to be able to pull it off on any kind of large scale.
Because we don't have the ability to tap the minerals.
It's just a lack of resources and an expense of the resources.
Well, unless you can find different resources to make them out of.
Well, that's the thing, that's what we need to work on.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
And there are actually people right now who are working on trying to use copper to make photovoltaic cells.
Yeah.
Which will make solar panels much cheaper and much more effective for a consumer market. Right now, with all the rare earth minerals that they have to use, it makes them very expensive and very cost prohibitive for the consumer market.
Yeah.
Most people can't pay the amount of money to get these things mounted on their house. But if you can make it out of copper, it becomes a whole lot cheaper. You're talking a few $100 instead of a few $1,000.
Yeah.
And
a lot of solutions, but we'll talk about that later, though, because we do got to go. So, cue the music, big guy.
Cue the music.
All right. That was the show for the night. Off the rails, even though it was totally on the rails, but
Totally on the rails.
I think it worked out okay, though. I liked it. I like what was going on. Interesting stuff.
And Brian and David that I know are listening because they've been commenting on my Facebook page. You all should have called in.
Were they mad?
No, they haven't. They just didn't call in.
Oh, but did they like it?
I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow.
Oh, we'll find out. We'll see you next week.
They were commenting,
All right, we'll see you next week, guys.